Oh, I can't get my mouth around that thing. Oh.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, November 17th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Had a huge night in NHL last night. Lost my shit when Trevor Zegras scored that gorgeous overtime goal to beat the Caps in overtime. 6-2 plus 4.05 units. And we are fading the Capitals again tonight. I'm a little late to the party on that. Birdie got a plus line on the Kings. I got a minus 110. I still pulled the trigger. We have a fascinating 3-game NHL card, a giant NBA card. Then we have Max jumping on the show, picking out 5 spots he's attacking in NCAA basketball before we deliver a little Wednesday MACtion. I really enjoyed the NFL show last night, Beat the Line. I was up late, loving every second of it, honestly, putting together my NFL card, sending my bets in, preparing for this show, and then waking up really early. And again, I tell you guys just inspire me so much. With such a lack of sleep, like I wake up like, let's fucking go. Like I just wake up so pumped up and excited to work with you guys. And it just means the world to me. Thank you guys so much. Ready to rock and roll. We got Trotwam joining us here. We are moving Trotwam to a new, demanded a new computer for Trotwam. So he's still going to use his old computer for NBA pop-up, but for us, he's going to use a new iPad. So he's not going to have his glorious green screen. We're going to get that shit figured out and fixed, but he won't look quite as good as he's been looking, but we'll be able to hear him and see him clearly. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We got Toucan in the house giving us a look. So he came in early. So he's got Unix versus Milano, first quarter bet, Milan minus 1.5. Says they're the best team in the EuroLeague and they're scoring the lower tier team 70-30 in the first quarter, 70%, 30%. Nice job. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Sammy J. Culmer says Hawks minus 3.5, minus 115 play today. Nice job getting 3.5. I already bet them at minus 4. I also followed Dan Kelly's plan with fading the Lakers here. So I'm already on the Bucks minus 7.5, and I would like to have already gone on the first half. I didn't because I was a little caught up in making sure that I was prepared for the show, and it wasn't available for me a couple hours ago. Dan Kelly just got on first half, Brooklyn minus 5, minus 120. Simple. No Mobley, no Allen, no Markkanen, no Sexton. Love back. We're not even certain if Love is going to be back, I believe, Dan, but maybe you know that he will be for sure. Says, if I were the Nets, I'd give KD the night off. I love it, Dan. I love working with you. Max on record in the house. And Brian Watson says already minus 6. Huh. And Charlie Chips too. I see Charlie back in action. This is on the under 208 in the Nets game. There is Henry Dice says thoughts on Chicago Seattle over 5.5. Will I bet it? And it's a fascinating situation here because the Blackhawks have just won 3 straight at home, playing a very defensive style of hockey. But then they have 5 days off. You're playing a certain type of accountable defensive hockey, and you're winning. And then you have 5 days off and you go to Seattle. The Kraken's last 3 games have all gone over. Who's going to dictate the pace? The Blackhawks coming in or Seattle, the home team? I predict Seattle, the home team is. So I did take the over 5.5 minus 120. But I was like, am I walking into a trap here? Like I didn't. But yeah, I'm on the over 5.5. There it is. There's Dan Kelly saying a lotto play. NFL Emma Moneyline Parlay says these types of plays don't count towards the record. I get it. I totally get it. 88-1 on Jags, Lions, Texans, and Bucks. There's epic cappers in the house. Nuke Worker coming to us live from Darlington Nuclear. Big news from our Nuke Worker. A great guy. He has handed in his notice for retirement. So in February, he will no longer be coming to us from Darlington Nuclear. He'll be coming to us from wherever he pleases, and spent a lot of time at Darlington Nuclear And, I was telling my wife or girlfriend or whatever you want to call her, but I was telling her, I was like, I love what Nuke has done. Because he's still got so much life ahead of him, right? 60 years old, retiring. He's got so, imagine the sporting events he's going to go to over the next 5 to 10 years. So congratulations, Nuke Worker, on all your hard work to put yourself in this position. And congratulations. And I can't wait to have a beer with you. And I think I might know when we can have that beer. I'm thinking of putting together a little final day at Woodbine, December 5th. I'm going to work on that over the next few days, but I'm thinking of putting something like that together. Okay, we got lots of work to do. Dan Kelly, Danny Lopez, Alex Johnson on Miami of Ohio -10 went 1-1 in college football yesterday. Serious business. Christian Rivas, Michael Ervelina says Ducks are on fire. Oh, man. And what a call by Birdie on the Coyotes. We have such a great group of cappers that when in NHL, I needed a 4 plus 4.05 unit night just to be up 1.5 units on the season. It's not enough. That was a spectacular call. There's Puzzler in the house. There's TJ talking about his head-to-head props and tweeted them out 10 minutes ago. So I'll be sure to retweet that as well. Thank you for sharing all that with us. And okay, beautiful. Jose has a say hey play of the day. Brian Watson saying Canada 2-1. I was heavy in the NFL show, so I didn't get to watch our triumph over Mexico, but I can't believe we get to be in the World Cup again. I remember watching the 1986 World Cup. We didn't score a goal. I remember watching all 3 games alone, and I was a huge Carl Valentine and Leonard Doozy brothers fan, so this is going to be much, much more exciting than that. 4-2 for Slatsy last night. Panthers, easy money. And there's another thing there. I did not bet the Islanders. I had Slatsy in my head, and I was like, do I really? Because I loved my card and I had a ton of action. It's not like I needed more action. And so, Slatsy, you saved me $200 last night, and I can't wait to have drinks with you, and I will pay for them. Henry Dice, ready to go. There's Red Girl, whom we love dearly, Mike M. So we have a ton of work to do. So let's get right into it right now. There's Billy Brisbane in the house, Mark Schillingberg, Danny A, Jay Peasy, Jared TG, Kent Davies. What a great group. Great group. So let's get to work. Christopher Comentini, thank you for rolling with us. Love all you guys. We have Cindy plays horses. Birdie says, congrats, Nuke, 10 more years. Yeah, man, it's richly deserved and enormous respect. And you have so much ahead of you. That's what is so exciting about it. Barry Roselle, Kent Davies, first round in Dubai, Sergio Garcia over Patrick Reed. So it's not the best race, but Patrick Reed played all 4 rounds in Houston, then got on a plane to Dubai and has to play 72 hours later. That makes a ton of sense. There's my guy Tariq in the house. All right, Nathan Cerna ready to go. And Henry Dice says it perfectly. Let's get to work. Okay, quick review of yesterday. Wham had the computer problems, which we are going to figure out because we need him badly. He did tweet out 3 plays. He went 1 and 2 on those plays. Nets first half -1.5 was a loser. Spurs first half +4.5 was a casher. Seth Curry over 2.5 assists at +118 was a loser. In NCAA basketball, Max went 3 and 4, but he got screwed, and we all got screwed again. All of us who were on this bet. Abilene UTA went to overtime. That was going to be an under that cashed. It did not cash, and it should have cashed. The Loyola Chicago State first half over in Loyola -18 cash. So this is Max. Max went 3 and 4 down 1.45 units yesterday. Florida Gulf Coast was a loser. Winthrop first half was a winner. Abilene Utah under was a loser. The double up in Chicago was winner. And then Oregon first half full game was loser. So Max is 17 and 13, 56.7% plus 2.58 units. ROI plus 8.60%. I lost again in NBA with the Nets -3. And it's been a tough start. And if NHL wasn't so glorious, I mean, I did need that Zegras goal to guarantee a really nice, profitable night. But in NCAA basketball, I went 2 and 3. The Abilene UTA hurt me. Georgia State +7.5 was a loser, and Oregon -4 was a loser. But I catched that double up. Loyola first half, Chicago State, Loyola. And then in NCAA football, I lost with Ohio +7. I cashed with Eastern Michigan +5.5. So I'm 48 and 46, down 3.1 units in NCAA football on the year, and not good enough. And in NHL, it was a glorious night. We capped the card very well, and I was extremely pumped up after it. And Flyers +105. And one thing, look, I got 2 overtime winners, and I've lost so many games in overtime this year that I was like, it's going to churn. I'm going to start catching these overtime winners. I'm going to start catching these shootout winners. So I expect to catch more than this shit. But it was nice to cash both the Flyers plus 105 and the Ducks plus 115 in overtime. So Flyers plus 105 casher, Rangers -1 push, Blues -1.5 loss, Edmonton Winnipeg over 6 cash, Stars -1 cash. I think you guys are starting to see what Brady and I have been talking about the Dallas Stars. Knights plus 105 was a loser, Ducks plus 115 was a casher, Jets -105 was a winner. We capped that together. The Jets -105 and Edmonton Dallas over 5.5 were the two additions from the show that we worked on together, and they cashed and they made me feel so fucking good. All right. Paco Healy says, bowl season is where we eat, though, Jimmy. With that much time, study time, and motivation spots, we all seem to eat. Yeah, well, last year was my best ever year in the bowl season, 27-9. I went against the spread in our contest. So I had by far the best bowl season I've ever had in my life. And I beat Big Ragu by a half unit in the contest. That's how good Ragu is. Tim Montana says, just finished dealing a poker game. Omaha since last night, ready to cap. I love you, Tim Montana, BX. I love the attitude. Let's get to work right now. We are plus units. Let's keep this shit going. NHL, we start at 9 p.m. Eastern. Look, I wanted to bet Colorado. Because the Canucks are a garbage fire. So, yes, the Avalanche are likely to win this hockey game. But there are reasons why I could not pull the trigger. Let's move over to the market and let's pull up the cash here. Sorry, I don't have the cash up. I do. Sorry, I do have the cash up. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to move over to NHL. And we know that Colorado is going to be a public play here. And 80% of the tickets are on Colorado and 99% of the cash. Then you have 63% of tickets on the over, 72% of cash on the over. I could have got Colorado this morning had I wanted them on a -1 line that was barely over plus or negative, right? It was the money line was -160, the -1.5 was +150. It would cost me like a -102 or -103, and yet I could not pull the trigger. There's only been a 1 cent move here. Let's make sure this is up to date. It is. There's only been a 1 cent move on Colorado. And a spreadsheet play today is on Buffalo. Wow, that's wild, Ron. That's so wild and exciting. I can't wait to talk about that. That's how we're going to close the show. So let me move over there. That's a wild. I love, oh God, it's so much fun working with everybody, hearing everybody's looks. So with the owners yesterday, still has a job. Dude has 9 lives. Well, he's going to keep his job because it's Aquilini's fault. Aquilini's making these decisions, and that's why Trevor Linden had to leave. Because Trevor Linden didn't want to go down in this sinking ship. Aquilini has not earned the right. Just because you're rich doesn't mean you get to manage a hockey team. So he's put a puppet in there like Benning, and it's just sickening. It's just sickening what they've done to our team. Brady says, my mind says Avs, but my cap says a Canucks spot, so I'm staying away. Canucks should win this game, but I can't bet the Canucks. If Green got fired, I would be on them big. Johnny K says if it's staying under. So, look, Jim Rutherford waiting in the wings, and he'd be the perfect general manager for the Canucks. But Jim Rutherford and the best general managers in the NHL need autonomy. And with Aquilini's hand up your ass, you're not going to get that autonomy with the Canucks. So let's break this game down here. Rogers Arena, Vancouver, BC. Darcy Kemper is being okay. I don't think he's good enough for the Avs to win a Stanley Cup. 6-4, 2.61 goals against average, 914 save percentage. Thatcher Demko, 5-6-1, 3.33 goals against average, 898 save percentage. He's better than that. Colorado power play at 15.2%, penalty killing at 83.9%. Vancouver power play at 15.3%, penalty killing at 62.3%. So the Avs coming off an easy 6-2 win at home over the Sharks on Sunday. They're already down Nathan McKinnon. Now they've lost JT Compher. So he had 5 goals and 4 assists. He had replaced McKinnon centering the first line. So you still have Kadri to win you faceoffs, the important faceoffs. But you're going to have to use Kadri in the defensive end faceoffs. You're going to have to use Kadri's line, and he's got Nishushkin on the one side and Burakovsky on the other. You're going to have to use that line in your most important faceoffs throughout the entire game because Rantanen is moving to play center. The one thing the Canucks can do, and they were incredible last year, and they haven't started out as good as they were last year, is win faceoffs. So now you're going to Rantanen. What is Rantanen going to win 20% of the draws? If that's the case, that Rantanen Landeskog line that's now got O'Connor on the wing is not going to have the puck, or you're not going to want to put them in any kind of important faceoff situations. So the Canucks are going to have the puck all game. Now, the Avs lost Bowen Byram. He's hurt, but Devin Taves is back. And Girard, my man Sammy Girard's playing very well. And Makar always plays at a high level. So the Canucks were outscored 19-6 on their 3-game road trip. Birdie says, why would we not bet the under in this game? And this is why I still think. Come on. I think there's a possibility that the Canucks self-destruct. And they allowed 19 goals on their 3-game road trip, and Demko's got an .898 save percentage. So I hear what you guys are saying, and why don't we take a look and see what that number is? That number is 6. It opened at -121 to the under. It's now -114. So money coming in on the over. Spreadsheet play today from Ron Crawford is Colorado. Honestly, I can see why you guys would want the under, but I don't want to bet a Canucks game right now. It's just a train wreck. And yeah, I think the 6 is probably, I think you guys are probably right. I think you've probably broken that down right. You probably have. So I'll put the under 6 there with a couple question marks. Sammy J. Comer is 5-2 Colorado. I just think we have so many opportunities on this card. We have a huge card tomorrow, as we had a huge card yesterday. We're destroying these huge cards on the show. And I'm not certain if there's a need to reach myself. Spreadsheet play today, lost yesterday, Nasty Nate. It was on the Calgary Flames, lost in overtime. So it was a tough loss. Thank you, Mike Butler, my man. Robert Terry says Avs and under. I don't want anything to do with this Knuckleheads team at all. Slatsy says, I can't believe how bad our teams have sunk. But I am cashing Habs and Canucks plays. Let's move on. Let's move on to action that there is. Dennis Garcia says, after the pathetic road trip and losing 7-1 to Colorado, don't we get Van's A game, whatever it is? Yeah, I think we do, Dennis. I think we do. I think we get Vancouver's A game, which is why I'm not on Colorado. And maybe the Canucks are just the play here. I think the problem with me is that Avalanche defense is so good. Now they have Devin Taves back, and I think you're right. Puzzler says, tempted by the under 5.5 at Bet365 at +100. Interesting. So they're not even giving you a 6? No, you're just buying down. They are giving us a 6. Okay, so let's move on. Yeah, for the Van game, I feel you. Okay, let's move on. We move on to 10 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Blackhawks 4-9-2, 0-5-1 on the road at Seattle Kraken 4-10-1, 3-4-0 at home. This total opened up at 5.5 at just -103 to the over, -111 to the under, and then the over started getting bet. I got in at -120 and late to the party. That's where it stands right now, is at over 5.5 at -120 at Bet365. From a money line perspective, Henry Dice says, Jimmy, by the way, do the Jets have the Oilers number? Seems like Oilers can't beat the Jets whatsoever. I personally, I just think that it was just a tough spot, end of a road trip, a tough spot, and a perfect spot for Winnipeg after Scheifele scored that overtime winner, and they're at home, and they're getting healthier. And I think that was a bad spot, personally. But in saying all that, we'll keep an eye on that for sure. Chicago opening up at +121. They're now at +131, a 10-cent move here. Tim Montana on Kraken puck line. There is Noli Nose in the house. Great to see you, Noli Nose. And Dennis Garcia again on Chicago. And they've won 3 straight. Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, Washington. We have Marc-Andre Fleury, 3-7-0, 3.50 goals against average, .897 save percentage, up against Philippe Grubauer, 4-7-1, 3.18 goals against average, .880 save percentage. Chicago's power play at 20%, penalty killing at 87.5%. Seattle power play at 10.9%, penalty killing at 80.7%. The Blackhawks are a rested group coming off their 3rd straight win, 2-1 at home over Arizona last Friday, and they probably didn't want all this time off. They swept their 3-game homestand, and all 3 games went under. And I'm not certain that they're going to be able to play at that kind of strong strong, accountable defensive level that they were playing at. They don't have a single plus player on their team. Connor Murphy's a -13, and Jake McCabe is a -12. Seth Jones has 1 goal, 12 assists in 15 games, and he's a -7. Also, the sad denouement of Johnny Taves' career is in play here. He doesn't have a goal in 15 games. He's only taken 29 shots. Captain Sirius better start shooting the puck. He better start shooting the puck, or what's he going? Who's he going to be? Was he? It's sad. It's sad. It's sad that he had whatever bacterial infection that kept him off of skates last year. Kane leads the way with 5 goals, 10 assists in 11 games. A right winger Mackenzie Entwistle, left winger Brandon Hagel, and left wing center Tyler Johnson remain hurt. Seattle has lost 4 straight. They were last seen in a 4-2 loss at home versus Minnesota on Sunday. Their top 4 scorers are looking good offensively, but they're doing very little defensively. And it is Jared McCann. He's a Corsi darling, and the Canucks shouldn't have got rid of him. I understand why Ron Francis wanted him. Eberle, Schwartz, Wenberg, and McCann have been good. And McCann, had to deal with COVID. He's coming back. Eberle's a -8. Oh, we have a third quarter look here from Dan Kelly. There's Trot Wham in the house. He's going to be joining us shortly. So let's get that. Let's get Dan Kelly. 7-5 on the show right now. Let's get that on the Bucks game. Third quarter Bucks. Oh, man, that's right in line with everything Dan's been saying and everything I like so much. Dennis Garcia said, just riding the streak, and it's not like Seattle's any good. Why on earth are they such big faves? They're getting healthy. But you're right. You're absolutely right, Dennis. I can completely understand why you're moving on the Blackhawks here. Eberle's a -8. I think the issue with our capping on Seattle was a lot of people had this vividness of how good Vegas was in that first year. And they love Ron Francis, respect Ron Francis. They took a look at this lineup and they thought it's a pretty good lineup. And, blinded sort of by how good Vegas was as a first-year team, people had higher expectations than they should have with this Seattle Kraken team. Their defense is not nearly as strong as we expected. Mark Giordano looks old out there, and he is old. I know he's only, 2019 removed from a Norris Trophy, but he does not look like that same player. But this is a healthy group that will start playing better. Daryl Lyle says, like Seattle in this spot. If I think that Seattle is going to dictate the pace of play in a sold-out Climate Pledge Center, then I expect this game to go over 5.5. Slatsy says Kane and DeBrincat have been on fire. So I expect Seattle to play better. And I'm on the over 5.5. That's it for me. Now we go to 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Washington Capitals 9-2-4, 4-1-1 on the road at Los Angeles Kings 8-5-2, 5-2-0 at home. We're at Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. Ilya Samsonov 4-0-1, 2.93 goals against average, 894 save percentage, 1 shutout. Going up against Cal Peterson, I think, at 4-2-1, 2.84 goals against average, 902 save percentage. I get these images that flash in my head of different cappers, and the cappers that capture my imagination. And the reason why we ended up all kind of jumping on Winnipeg, we were capping the Winnipeg Edmonton game, but Mr. Gokster also came in heavy believing on Winnipeg, and then it all kind of made sense. And that's just us working together. Birdie says Hawks would have worked over the 5 days off. Yes. Says new coach, new system, underachieving team. They had to work. I agree with Dennis Garcia. Hawks are the look. Henry Dice says if we like the over, why not just take the first period over 1.5? Personally, my ROI is very good on first period unders. I feel like I can sense them coming and I can bet them. Here, with the way the Blackhawks have come in off of 3 straight games of tight defensive hockey, after Colleton got fired, I don't want, and then being off for 5 days, I don't feel like I have a good grasp on the first period. And I really want to watch this game here. Slatsy says, Birdie, you think the line moves in the Kraken game? Be interested to hear what Birdie says, because we've seen a 10-cent move already towards the Kraken. Let's take a look at this right now. Sorry, we have on the money line, by the way. No, the 57% of the tickets on the money line are on Seattle and 98% of the cash. So there will not be a market move towards Chicago. Then we have 40% of tickets on the under and 81% of cash on the under. And that's based on what the Blackhawks have done. Who's going to dictate the pace? That's what you have to decide in this game, whether you want the the over or the under. And I was nervous legitimately taking the over. In this Capitals game, we have 67% of tickets on the Kings, 81% of cash. And then we have 53% of tickets and 98% of cash. Says this is Kraken help those senses. And Remo says, I'll be honest, I like betting unders more than overs. Well, you're talking to the right guys, because I agree. I get a sick joy of cashing unders, just a sick joy. And it all harkens back to the WNBA unders when I would just cheer bricks and scream for bricks until I got kicked out of the bar. Here we go. Capitals on the second half of a back-to-back after having their 4-game winning streak snapped in a 3-2 overtime loss at Anaheim last night. The Kings had their 7-game winning streak snapped in a 3-2 overtime loss at Winnipeg on Sunday night. Victor Arvidsson is back. He was back at practice with Dustin Brown and Anze Kopitar. He looks very good. He had looked very good before he had COVID in that spot. Deacon Mike says, I'll be over at 8 to watch the Chicago game. Also bring snacks for the pigeons. Thank you, Deacon. Thank you. Yes, please. The house doesn't quite smell like baby shit anymore, so I think you'll be pleased with what you see. This Capitals team is pretty weak, man. Look, Ovechkin and Kuznetsov are playing out of their minds. They're spectacular hockey players, and Kuznetsov has a ton to prove. And Alexander Ovechkin will, first ballot Hall of Famer. I want to say he's the greatest goal scorer that we've ever seen, and he probably is. But still, the way Brett Hull would snipe, he was just such a sniper. He didn't play the game very well, but he was such a sniper. Ovechkin clearly a better player than him. So that first line of Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, and Wilson, they got to be able to fight with the Boston Bruins perfection line as the best line of hockey. This line has certainly been the best line in the NHL this season. And then who's next? Your second line is Sheary, McMichael, and Sprong. Your third line's Jalby, Pilon, and Hathaway. Your fourth line's Hagelin, Protas, and Leeson. This team's going to start losing hockey games, and they're going to lose a few of them in a row. And they're going to play under 500 hockey, I bet, from here on out. I really do. I think they're a fade moving forward, and we can get ahead of it and like Birdie did. Birdie got ahead of this and got the plus line on the Kings. Slatsy says Danault has made such a difference for Kopitar and Caps on OT back-to-back. I bet Kings. Look, TJ Oshie and Nick Backstrom are elite hockey players, and they completely changed the dynamic of this hockey team. And right now they're a one-line team, and you can beat one-line teams. Look what happens to the Oilers in the playoffs. They get taken out, and that's why they needed Hyman. They needed to be able to separate Draisaitl and McDavid, because if you have a center like Philippe Danault, who is going to win a ton of faceoffs, and he's so strong defensively, and you can keep him on Kuznetsov everywhere he goes, well, who else is going to score for you? The only way the Capitals are going to put up offense is if they get on the power play, because they have such a dynamic power play. So, yes, I think that this Capitals team is a perfect situation for us gamblers to bet against, because there's a vividness of how good they've been. Their record says 9-2-4. And they can be beaten. Brant Hunt says, I love betting unders as well. Except mine's even sicker. I live bet them during the game. I love that, Brant. Puzzler says, Ovi is better getting good position to score than Hull. Ovi's a better player. I agree. Ovi's a better player. Brady says on Kings here, and much better player, but as just a pure sniper. Now, I didn't get the chance to watch, Phil Esposito. I'm sure he has something to say about that. I'm sure Mike Bossy has something to say about that. I'm sure Bobby Hull has something to say about that. But for what I've seen, Brett Hull was just such a sniper. Such a sniper. So Brady says on Kings, LA road trip, tons of coke snorted for the Capitals. Last night was the game the Caps had to win. Historically, the Caps lose in LA. Some Caps guys won't sleep for 3 days. True story. Brian Watson says Gretzky the best goal scorer ever. I think Lemieux is a better goal scorer than Gretzky. Gretzky's just, the only player who might be better than Gretzky is Bobby Orr. So no one's going to say anything negative about Gretzky. He was spectacular, but he was the best playmaker in my estimation. Eric Thomas says, thanks for the Winnipeg over. Yeah, Eric Thomas. And thanks the chat for us coming together on that Dallas over 5.5. It was great work. Yeah, Johnny K says best setup, man. Look, we could sit here and talk about the best players in the history of the NHL. The problem is that I didn't get to watch Bobby Orr. And, Guy Lafleur probably wants to be involved in the best snipers in NHL history. But Brett Hull was just such a sniper. I mean, there was something about him where he would, he looked out of shape. He didn't care. He had this knack for just picking whatever corner he wanted, always going upstairs, scoring goal after goal after goal. No, it helped to have Adam Oates sitting there feeding him the puck. Okay, so I'm on the Kings at -110, and I am on the over 5.5 in the Blackhawks Seattle Kraken, and I'm staying off this Vancouver Canucks game, and I think the issue is just simply volatility. But I think the under 6 does make sense, and we can talk about it more. But there you have it. That is our NHL card. Avalanche, Canucks stay off, and then moving on the late 2 games. All right. Brady says best player in the NHL is a flawed discussion. Igor Larionov would be in the conversation. He isn't because he was too old when he got to the NHL, but was great. Well, Brady, Igor Larionov's my favorite player in NHL history. I still have his autobiography autographed. I got autographed after a Canucks game in 1989 when I was 10 years old, and I love him very, very much. Okay, we move on to NBA. We are going to wait here on Wham Bam. Wham Bam will be joining us shortly. He dropped the kids off at school. So let's go with this 2 spots that I've moved on. And we'll start with 7:30 p.m. Cleveland Cavaliers, 9-6, 5-3 on the road. I'm sorry, Jose, that we're going to go a little bit out of order here. But, I guess we should actually just stay in order. You're right. We have all the graphics out. We can stay in order, and we can start breaking down the games and have we'll start with Wizards Charlotte. We'll stay with the order that we set up. Why don't we do that? Williams Wrestling in the house. All right. Washington Wizards 10-3, 4-2 on the road at Charlotte Hornets 8-7, 4-2 at home. We're at the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. Washington's pace over the last 5 games, 20th in the NBA, 96.5 possessions a game. Charlotte's pace first at 102.86 possessions a game. The more Dan Kelly's talked about what Wes Unseld has done, the more I've been following along, and I truly, truly agree. Brady says, that's it for me, folks. Good luck today, all. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you, my friend. And says, win your days all. Go Kings. Thank you, Birdie, my man. Brian Watson saying Eddie Shack. Okay, so let's break down this spot. Let's start with the market movements, then move into the cash flow, and then see what the chat is doing and go from there. Here we go. Washington opening up as 1-point dogs. That's where they stand right now, and this is all up to date with finally on my site. And then we'll move over to the cash flow in this spot. And we have 2,433 tickets in. 70% of the tickets are on Charlotte and 53% of the cash. So I think that Sharps have been cashing with Washington, whether or not Bradley Beal is in the lineup or not. And they've been succeeding. The total here, you have 37% of tickets on the under and 80% of cash on the under. Let's move over to spreads and totals to make sure that this is up and ready to go for us. So this total has gone from 217 to 219.5 or 220. Interesting. 219.5 or 220, and yet all this money's on the under. That's hard to figure out. Washington has won 5 straight games. They're coming off Monday night's 105-100 win against the Pelicans. They're winning the close games, which is a sign of a quality basketball team. 5 of their wins this season have come by 7 or fewer points. They are winning without Bradley Beal. So he's missed the last 2 games because of personal reasons. And is it confirmed that Bradley Beal will be back in the lineup? If one of you guys could look that up right now, that would be great. Danny A says if Hayward is out, this is a Wizards spot. So let's pull up the Charlotte roster right now and take a look at Gordon Hayward. get the last minute information on Bradley Beal and Gordon Hayward, as they are so important. Hayward is probable for tonight. So he's rolling. He scored 20 plus in 5 of his last 7 games, and he is probable to be back in business. And then we get over to Bradley Beal. Let's move over to Bradley Beal. So move over to Bradley Beal. Here we go. And see if Bradley will be in the lineup. You have to think with the line that he will be. He is officially good to go for Wednesday's game against the Hornets. So, look, we know what happens when these guys get back on the floor in their first game. Guys like Bradley Beal. You know, Karl Anthony Towns was the opposite. You have to judge somebody's character, unfortunately, in a handicapping situation to decipher how they're going to handle a death. And his grandma, he said, was, you know, his mother 2.0. He's going to come in and he's probably going to dedicate the game to her, whether he says it publicly or it's just something he keeps inside. And he's probably going to go off. Now, also, it complicates the matter. 10-3, this Wizards team is. Best start in 47 years. You think that feels good? You think, I mean, Beal's going to come back to his family that's up 10-3 on the season. Hornets have won 3 in a row, longest winning streak of the season. This is the 3rd game in a 4-game homestand, which for me, the 4th game of a 5-game homestand and the 5th game of a 6-game homestand, not as much the 3rd game and 4th game homestand. While I'm saying this, I don't have the numbers to back that up. You know who does is Dan Kelly. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that this is a great spot for a team when I have no numbers to back it up. So I'm going to stop talking about that. Charlotte, we saw them on Sunday night. They win 106-102 against the Warriors. They hold the Warriors to 14 points in the 4th quarter. It was very impressive. Robert Cherry says he's in the lineup. Schnizzle leaning Wizards +1. Mike M says, I like the Wizards tonight, but don't like the 3-6 straight up last 9 versus Charlotte. Daryl Lyles looking at the over in this game. And Trot Wham says Beal is going to be in. So at this point, Young Suave says, I'm loving the under. Their defensive and rebounding are top notch. Vitalis in the house says divisional rivals here in reverse line movement on the total. You can grab the under at 219 at some books. Dav Fenn says, yep, Beal is going to be a monster tonight. He loves this team too. No Wall, no Westbrook, no drama. Perfectly put, Dav Fenn. So with all of that being said, I think this is a great opportunity for Charlotte on the 3rd game of 4-game homestand. I think Bradley Beal is going to be a monster. We have a 1-point spread, and we have a huge card with lots of opportunities for it. So J.A. says Wizards underrated. Get on them. And I'm not going to move on this game. So when Wham joins us, we'll see if Wham wants to make a move here. Let's move on. 7 p.m. Eastern. Indiana Pacers 6-9, 2-7 on the road at Detroit Pistons 3-10, 1-5 at home. Nice job. Oh, Kev, you had Eastern Michigan money line. Spectacular work. There's top shelf plays in the house. Jared TG says holding off betting against Charlotte at the moment. I would expect the Wiz to win though. And top shelf shouting out Birdie for that Coyotes pick. It was a thing of absolute beauty. It absolutely was. Okay, Pacers, Pistons, Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. Indiana Pacers pace over the last 5 games, 29th at 94.20 possessions a game. Detroit pace 15th at 98.90 possessions a game. Let's move over to the spread here. We have Indiana opening up as 6-point favorites. They're now 6.5-point favorites, and this total is dropping fast. It's down to 206.5 at Pinnacle, 205.5 at Bet365. We go over to the cash flow. We have 3,568 tickets in. 83% of the tickets are on the Pacers, and we don't have the cash up, which is interesting. We probably have enough to deliver that, but we don't at this point. You have 36% of tickets on the over and 74% of cash on the over, yet it's dropping, and it's dropped so fast, which is tricky to figure out. All right, Detroit won by 8 at Houston last Wednesday and looked good doing it. But this is a Jekyll and Hyde young basketball team. They come back, they score 78 points and lose by 20 at Cleveland on Friday. Now, that was a Cleveland team that had, players, not like the Cleveland team we're going to see tonight. Then they beat the Raptors They put up 127 points and beat the Raptors, which was just wild. They come home for a 5-game homestand, and on Monday they lose by 22 to Sacramento. I mean, that is when you're trying to find an angle-driven bet. How do you handle that? Cade Cunningham looking better. He did put up 25 points, 8 boards, 8 assists last game. Pacers lost to the Knicks 92-84 on Monday to begin the 3-game road trip. They had won 5 of 7. It means against the spread, Treek. ATS means against the spread. All right. So Brant Hunt says Pacers first quarter will be a play for me. I do not know how to handle the Pistons at this point. When a team one night will score 78 points and the next night will score 127 against a Raptors team that has a lot of length defensively, I don't know how you can have confidence that have a confident angle and expectation of how you think they're going to play. Now it's the second game of a 5-game homestand. I can imagine that they're going to play better than they played, and that's an easy statement to make in that terrible loss to Sacramento. And Dwayne Casey will have them ready to go. Ski Profit says fade them or bet other teams 3-pointers. That's how you bet Detroit games. So I would like to fade the Pistons after they play very well, not after they play terribly. Epic Capper says underlean here. I see 100 to 90. Ski Profit leaning towards the Wizards first half in the game 1 that we spoke about. Wizards, Charlotte Hornets. Trot Wham likes Wizards first half too. Wham Bam will be on the show here shortly. So there you have it. I don't feel comfortable with this Pacers-Pistons spot. And first 2 games on the card, we have so many opportunities. And we've already heard Wham's going to be on Wizards first half with Ski as well. I'm going to move to the next spot on the board. That is 7:30 p.m. Boston Celtics 7-7, 5-4 on the road. Atlanta Hawks 6-9, 5-1 at home. State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. The Hawks is a bet I've already made. I got the Hawks at -4 right now. They're at 4.5. This total opened up at 214. It's gone up to 216 at Pinnacle. And I probably could have moved on the Hawks first half as well. And it's fine that I didn't do that. Yeah, it's 4.5 now. That first half is sitting at 2.5. I think that it's pretty easy to say. I just think this Hawks team is going to get hot. They're 6-9 on the year, so we get a good number against a Celtics team that's dealing with injuries. Right now, Robert Williams has left knee soreness. He played 13 minutes on Monday, didn't play in the second half in that 98-92 victory over the Cavs. We know that we're talking about a Celtics team without Jaylen Brown, and the Hawks are 5-1 at home. LJ from H-Town says Hawks are 5-1 against the spread first quarter at home. Yes, Herter and Bogdanovic are game time decisions right now. I don't think Herter is going to play. And we know that DeAndre Hunter is out. He had surgery on his right wrist Monday, so he's going to miss 8 weeks. Ski Profit says Celtics been making money lately, but I get wanting the Hawks at home. And I get not wanting to double up here because, I just want the Hawks to take care of business, and I want 48 minutes for them to do that. All right, let's break this down here. Let's go over this cash flow in this one. We have 30,190 tickets in, 60% of the tickets, 66% of the cash on the Hawks. Very comfortable with those numbers there. And then we have 51% of tickets on the under and 98% of cash on the under. Interesting. So this total has gone up 2 points. We've seen that in all 3 of our games so far that we've talked about. We have seen the total move in the opposite direction for where the cash is coming in. Gerald Jones says lean Atlanta at home. J.A. says Hawks can't afford to lose at home because they can't win on the road. Jared T.G. said took Trey over 2.5 threes at plus money. Boston pace over the last 5 games, 95.12 possessions a game, while Atlanta's pace 17th at 97.50 possessions a game. Hawks won on back-to-back nights for the first time this season when they defeated Orlando 129-111 on Monday after beating Milwaukee by 20 on Sunday. So this is their 3rd game in 4 nights. 4 starters scored 20+. Young, Collins each had 23. Capella, Bogdanovic each had 20. Gallinari and Williams come off the bench and look very good. We talked about the injury issues. Boston comes in winners of 3 of their past 4. They win 98-92 over the Cavs. And Tariq says, seems like everybody's on the Hawks. I see. It's just under 5 with the Hawks at home against a beat-up Celtics team. I'm comfortable with non-double up spot. There you go. That's my spot. Don Max says under. Ixnizzle leaning towards this under. Pace-wise, it makes a ton of sense. Boston 27th in pace at 95.12 possessions a game. Atlanta 17th in pace at 97.50 possessions a game. I can understand both looks. I really can. So we have this total going up. One more time, let's just look at the cash. And we have all this money coming in on the under. So that's a little tricky. Okay, there you have it. Tariq says, who's going to guard Jason Tatum? Well, there's a few different Hawks you can put on him. Who's going to guard him well, or who is capable of slowing him down or shutting him down is another question. Hawks -4 and -110 was the first bet on my card. Let's keep rolling. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Cleveland Cavaliers 9-6, 5-3 on the road at Brooklyn Nets 10-5, 4-3 at home. Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Cleveland pace 22nd over the last 5 games. 96.10 possessions a game, while Brooklyn's 7th at 101.30 possessions a game. And we see what this team does without Mobley. Right elbow sprain. So he's been so good this year. They got hurt on Monday, and this is the front end of a back-to-back. Golden State comes in tomorrow. This is going to be very, very, very interesting. Dad Fence says, I was 10-78. Bullets won the championship with Wes Unseld and Elvin Hayes. I still hate that we're called the Wizards, but this is my team. Homer played tonight, Wizards +1. Yeah, it's too bad that you guys are called the Wizards. Gerald Jones says Cleveland unders, love it. Ray Charles says Brooklyn smash spot. LJ from H-Town says Cavs are 8-0 in the first quarter on the road. Lit Pick says this is the Nets' first half spot right here after that embarrassing loss. Nets bets in the house. He was at the game last night. Says Nets going to smack these boys up. They're missing way too much depth, and Nets fresh off embarrassment on national television. There's Mario White. We will go over everything quickly on NHL. I have only 2 looks. I'm on the Kings money line. I got -110, and I'm on the over 5.5 in the Blackhawks Kraken game. Okay, so let's take a look at the cash flow and the market move. We know the market's moving towards Brooklyn with all these players out, but in fact, Pinnacle opened this up at 10.5. Interesting. Pinnacle opened this up at 10.5. It moved to 10 this morning, and now it's at 9.5. Huh. I wonder if the same thing is happening with the first half at Pinnacle. Let's take a look at the first half here quickly. First half. Spread, and it's the opposite. First half opens up at 5.5 and moves to 6. It moves to 6 at 11:03 a.m. Or sorry, 11:03. Yeah, 11:03 a.m. Sorry, 47 minutes ago. Okay, Tariq says everybody's out for Cleveland. Yes, everybody's out for Cleveland. We have 3,253 tickets in, and 54% of the tickets are on Cleveland, which is crazy. 30% of the cash is on Cleveland, but 54% of the tickets. Then you have 67% of the tickets and 73% of cash on the over. Charlie Chip says Cleveland going to play good, tight D, though, and have a winning record. So Sexton, we know he's out, torn meniscus, out indefinitely. Jared Allen didn't travel with the team. He has a non-COVID illness. Lauri Markkanen still getting his conditioning back from being in the health and safety protocols. He's not expected to play. And Kevin Love might be back after missing 8 games with health and safety protocols. Sharpie says bomb of the week guaranteed to detonate in tennis. Jesus. Tennis, her catch. Wow, Sharpie doing whatever it takes, whatever sport it takes to get that cash. I love it, Sharpie. Exciting. Okay. So Ixnizzle says it will help if Millsap came back. No bigs for the Cavs. No real scoring threats. This game gets ugly, in my opinion, especially since the Nets got smacked up yesterday. And Nets bet says the paint going to be sweet. All Cavs rim protectors gone. Nets blow out easily. Young Suave says Cavs top 3 scorers are out. Take the Nets with the points and the under. So Nets coming in off an ugly showing. 117-99 loss. Golden State. They had won 5 of 6 on their big long road trip. And then they come back and look terrible. Second quarter, they go 5 of 22 from the field. Durant coming off 19 points, 6 of 19 from the field. They missed 26 of 36 threes, and Joe Harris still not expected to play. Bobby Boucher, yeah, it's his grandma. It's Beal's grandma, and he's been gone for 2 games, so he's ready to come back. I respect that. Gerald Jones says the under is going to be on my card. Young Suave said the spread went down because Kev Love was moved up to a game time decision. So let's take another look at this total in this game. Opened up at 206 and it's climbing up to 207 to 208. It's at 208.5 at Bet365. Is that right? Yeah, it's up at 208.5. So then, I mean, you have to take a look at who will be in the lineup for the Cavs. I mean, that's the only way to really be able to attack this spot, to have an idea of it. So you have Darius Garland, you have Ricky Rubio, and then what? Dean Wade, Ned Davis. Get a little Denzel Valentine action. CD Osman. Kevin Pangos. Hey, get a Canadian out there. It's ugly. Let's bring on your next guest. He's moved to a new iPad. We're going to be messing around with stuff right now, but the main thing I want to see him clearly. I want to hear him clearly. I don't care if it doesn't look as good as it's been looking. I just want that big smile to come through clear. Please welcome to the show, Trot Wham in the house.
Yes,
what up,
yes.
man? How are you?
I'm all right, bro. I'm all right. I may not be as clear because my fucking beats is hooked up here, and I might have the cars in the background because my son and shit. I'm daddy daycare today, bro. So hey, it is what it is, man. We gotta get to it, bro. And I'm glad you capping this game, man. This game is very interesting, bro. We started off saying that maybe KD's hurt, bro. He did say something was wrong with his shoulder, and then it obviously only has 19 points last game. It's a back-to-back here. He's not on the injury report or anything, but I mean, I gotta be looking here at the Cavs, honestly, you guys. I mean, I was on the Nets yesterday, so maybe I'm a little bitter here because they didn't cover the first half for me. And we've been on to a fucking, as far as the recap here, I've been fucking getting my ass smashed here, man. So I'm just being honest and transparent with you guys. But in this case, though, I think the Cavs probably should be the play here. This is a big number. Obviously, it could be a bounce back spot for Brooklyn, but I just believe that the Cavs are going to play a little bit well. You did mention they got the Canadian here coming. They got a Canadian. But they got our guy, Kevin Love, most likely going to be playing here. I mean, all he has to do is just sit over there and shoot. Defensively, maybe a liability there, but they got some guys defensively that's a liability. They figure out what the Nets here. I mean, how bad did Steve Kerr get out-coached yesterday? I mean, did Steve Nash get out-coached yesterday? It was just fucking ridiculous, bro. They did throwing defenses at Brooklyn. It's on film now. You know what I mean? Maybe Cavs don't take advantage of it early here, but I think the Cavs got to be the look here at +9. It's just the only way I would look to bet this game, and also I would look to bet James Harden to get over his 3-point prop. I know our guy Ski's been on that. I would think that could be in play today as well here. As far as the total though, bro, what I wrote down here is that I expect defense here. I expect defense, so I would think towards the under and the 208. I'm not sure what the money is looking at here. That's one thing I didn't bet here, but I would look towards the under here at 208.5.
Why would it be going up? 2-star, there's no Jared Allen. Jared Allen will not be there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jared Allen out. You know what? This game there's so many opportunities on the board.
Right.
Why I don't see look, this Brooklyn Nets team is tricky to figure out. If KD does have shoulder issues, why bother playing him here?
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't put him out there, honestly, but he gotta be, the leader here, so maybe that's the case.
And Nets bet says no Laurie, no Sexton, no Allen, no Mobley. We're smacking them up. We mad. What do we always see that first game when a team is missing their stars is they step up. I'm going to stay off the Nets here. And this total going up right now when it should be going down doesn't
With all
really
those
make
guys
sense.
you said out, it just doesn't make sense there. But
so did you want to make the Nets an official pick? Or sorry, the
Caps. No, I'm gonna stay away from it though. Like you said, it's a lot of games here, and I didn't bet this game yet. So if I would have bet it, I would have told you guys I'm on it. But something I'm just looking at here, maybe even get worse here. Probably like 10 later on towards close. So I'm gonna stay away from it for right now.
And Wham, by the way, on our show, 9-7 plus 2.01 units, average line plus 100. That's making, because I retweeted his picks that he would have given out on our show, the Curry and Spurs and Nets. So look, just win here, baby. Just win here. Who cares what happens anywhere else? Just win here. Okay, so Wham, we talked about the Wizards, Hornets, and with all the issues, just Bradley Beal dealing with the death of his grandma, who he's very close with, and the Charlotte Hornets team playing their best basketball of the year. Is a stay off spot for me. Was there something that you wanted to make official?
Yeah, I'm taking the Wizards here. I like them full game and first half here. I'll take the +1 as an official pick, though. That's why I got it at +1 there for the Washington Wizards. My opinion here is just that this is a tough defensive team. The coach has pretty much has everyone heads on the swivel for the Wizards. You got a great play from Montrezl Harrell, who I expect him to eat today. You got good play from Kyle Kuzma, who's also just been playing really lights out on both ends of the floor. People are not really talking about his defense as well. He's playing on both ends of the floor. This team for the Wizards, though, they're number one so far in defense, which is something that's surprising there. And they're holding opponents beyond the three. This Charlotte Hornets team, they kind of are a jump shotting type team. They start off slow as well, so that's the reason why I would take the first half. If you just want to get in and get out, Wizards first half, maybe a quick look there. But I think full game is a good spot. I expect Bill to be in the lineup here and to have some type of emotion ball out today. I expect the Wizards to come out and whoop the Charlotte Hornets ass. Even though it was a great win for them the last game, I think Gordon Hayward may most likely probably be out this lineup. So if I was to take anything on the Hornets side, it's probably just going to be Miles Bridges. But I like the Wizards here, and I like them early and often.
Love it. So we lock you in there. Wizards +1 at -109 available. Pinnacle. Next up, Pacers, Pistons. This was also a stay off spot. If we could keep this tight, because we got a lot of work to do with the games going on. But
this
Pacers, Pistons?
For this right here, this is going to be a backwood for me. But I did want to take the Pacers here in this spot. Looking towards the rebounds for Isaiah Stewart. I fucked around and got the rebounds for Sadiq Bey. Isaiah Stewart gets 14 rebounds. So he's been taking the rebounds assignment since Kelly Olynyk is out. Isaiah Stewart probably be the look here if I bet anything. But other than that, it's a backwood, bro.
All right. And then Celtics, Hawks. I moved on the Hawks -4 at -110. And
I've seen that.
Look, I mean, nothing is as simple as it seems in NBA, but this feels good to me. What do you think here?
Yeah, I would say this is a backwood as well, just to make it quick and brief. But I agree with you, though. If I'm going to bet anything, it's going to be a home team that's been killing on the home. It's the Hawks there. It's the only way I would look here in this spot. I do think the Celtics have been getting some good play from Dennis Schroeder, and guys have been stepping up there on their end. But I think Robert Williams he left the game early last game, so I do want to see what the injury report shows for him before I back anything on this game. So it's a backwood, bro.
All right, there you go. Nothing official for Cavs Nets, and we move on to Pelicans Heat. Wham?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's do it. We got Trot Wham joining us from Long Beach, California. New Orleans Pelicans 2-13, 1-7 on the road at Miami Heat, 9-5, 4-1 at home. We're at FTX Arena, Miami, Florida. New Orleans pace over the last 5 games, 28th at 95.10 possessions a game. Miami 16th at 97.96 possessions a game. Let's move into the market moves here. We have Miami opening up as 8-point favorites. Pinnacle has just moved them to 7.5. We go over to the cash flow in this game. We have 3,165 tickets in. 35% of the tickets on the Pelicans, 44% of the cash, and Pinnacle moving at a half point. So that all makes sense. Then we have 75% of tickets on the under. We don't know the cash flow at this point. Miami did not look good to start out that Western trip and closed it up strong. This team is going to be dangerous if they can stay away from the injury issues. They beat the Thunder last out on Monday without Butler or Bam. Butler's missed 3 straight games due to a sprained right ankle. Bam missed the Thunder game due to a bruised left knee. Tyler Hero's played in all 14 games, and he's scoring 21.9 points per game. He's been very good. But it's their defense that's the calling card. 3rd in field goal percentage allowed at 42.6. 5th in points allowed at 103. 8th in three-point percentage allowed at 32.9. So both Bam and Butler are questionable. And we know that there's been no Oladipo, and that Markieff Morris is also questionable with a neck injury. Kyle Lowry leading the team with 7.3 assists, but only scoring 12.7 points a game. Pelicans come in with the second worst record in the NBA, 2-13. They have had Brandon Ingram return the last 2 games, and he's looked good, averaging 25 points. When Ingram was out, Pelicans went 0-7, losing by an average of 14.9 points per game. No Zion Williamson, and this Pelicans defense is bad. 26th in the NBA in points allowed, 27th in three-point percentage allowed, 29th in field goal percentage allowed. But this is a banged-up Heat team on the first game back from a long road trip. Take it away, Wham, Pelicans Heat.
Man, I really want to take the Heat, bro. They're undefeated at the house in the first half, but man, this fucking Pelicans team has to be good early on the road. It's just one of those things, man. I just don't want to jump in front of the Pelicans, especially like you mentioned. Without Zion, this team is pretty much it's not really well constructed for a Zion-less team. So you would need Zion in this lineup against a team that of this caliber. There are a lot of guys on the injury list here. Bam. Jimmy Butler, who I believe Jimmy Butler will probably play today, being off that he was had a few days off there. And shout out to Dan Kelly, West Unstead, killing, man. That's the reason why I like that Wizards play as well. Coach been killing. But as far as the Heat here, bro, I honestly want to take them early. That's the only way I would probably look here in this spot. The only thing that's stopping me is that the Pelicans, as of late on the road, they've actually been playing really well. I think they're 6-2 ATS in the first quarter. And if I'm not mistaken, in the first half, I just had this up here. Yeah, 6-2 in the first half ATS, and they're about 5-2-1, if I'm not mistaken, in the first quarter. They've been playing really well early on. Now, if those guys are out, I do want to go jump right on our guy, Jonas Valanciunas. We've been killing with Jonas Valanciunas. Kind of go back to what's been working for us, especially when you're in a bad streak here. Go to what you know. And Valanciunas probably ease here in this spot. So that's probably would be the way I'm looking here. If anything, it's going to be Heat first half first, because I do believe Jimmy Butler is going to play. I think that's going to help these guys be a little bit more defensive-minded on the perimeter. Guys like Brandon Ingram, he's going to still eat, but he's going to have to fight and work a little bit harder with Jimmy Butler and those guys in the lineup. So that's the way I would look here is Heat first half. Nothing official here yet because I haven't bet it yet. But Heat first half, second play will be Jonas Valanciunas once those starters are considered out or in there.
Very interesting. 2-star green flag says Pelicans dominate in the paint, plus Ingram have something to prove. Uncle Oliver also on the Heat first half. Remos talking about Butler being questionable. Dennis Garcia says Pelicans building around a player that has never shown an ability to stay healthy. Yikes. He's absolutely right. A young swab on Devontae. Devontae Graham under 3.5 threes. Kyle Lowry going to lock him up.
Oh no, that motherfucker shoot like 14 of things every game, bro. He only need 3. That's tough. I like that though. that.
We miss Kyle Lowry's fat ass in Toronto so much, man. That guy, he was the heart and soul of our team, man. Okay, nothing official for Wham.
Away from that
Let me ask you this quickly before we move on. Do you agree with the market move towards the Pelicans?
You know what, though? Honestly, I think it has something to do with the injury report. Like, people were expecting those guys to be out. Like, Bam being on the injury report, Jimmy being on the injury report. That's key players for this Heat team. So I would say I would disagree because I do believe those guys are going to play. So that's the reason why I would disagree with the line movement. If those guys are out, then hell yeah. You know what I mean? You're on the right spot. And that's the reason why I'm probably a little bit hesitant here, because if I'm going to take the Heat first half, I'm most likely, if those guys are in the lineup, it's probably going to move to 9.5. I probably just only have to pay a point for the first half here. And I believe if those guys are in the lineup, they're probably going to win by double digits in the first half here. So that's the reason why I'm not taking this bet yet, because if the line does change with those guys in the lineup, I don't think it's going to change that much in the early first half. So I'm staying away for right now. But I kind of would say I disagree with the line movement, though.
Okay, let's move on to the next spot. I'm going to push Max back 5 minutes to 12:25.
Sorry, Max, bro. My fault, bro. I had to drop the kids off, man.
It's all good.
Sorry,
it's all 12:25. And we'll...
My son is pretty good, though, man. He's ducked off, bro. I appreciate you guys in the chat, too, man. Salute, bro.
let's move on to Madison Square Garden at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Orlando Magic and New York Knicks. Orlando paced last 5 games, 12th in the NBA, 100 possessions game. Knicks 25th at 95.80 possessions a game. We have this opening up as 11.5-point favorites for the Knicks. That's moved to 12. From a total perspective, we have it opening up at 209.5, dropping to 208.5 at most books, just 209 at Pinnacle. Cash-wise, we have 3,215 tickets in, 59% of the tickets, 68% of the cash on the Knicks. Then 40% of the tickets, 69% of the cash on the over, yet it is dropping. Knicks offered they showed some defensive ability for the first time in a while in that 92-84 victory over Indiana. Held the Pacers to 10 points in the fourth quarter. Randall has not looked very good offensively over the last 3 games, shooting 33% and just 37 points in those 3 games. Taj Gibson could be starting at center here. Mitchell Robinson left with a sore left ankle. Nerlens Noel has missed the last 3 games with a sprained right knee. Orlando starting off a 5-game, 7-day road trip here. Cole Anthony, 20.2 points, 6.6 boards, 5.6 assists. Third double-double of the season with 29 and 11 in Monday's 129-111 loss at home to the Hawks. That must have been at Atlanta, right? Because Atlanta's won 2 straight, so my apologies. Magic have lost 11 of their last 14 games. Jalen Suggs sat out Monday with a high ankle sprain. He's day-to-day. Gary Harris started in his place, put up 8 points in 30 minutes. Daryl Lyle says Magic team total under. Take it away, Wham, Magic Knicks.
I'm thinking the other way here. Not the team total under or over for the Magic. I'm thinking team total over for the Knicks here. I don't trust the defense for the Knicks. That's the reason why I still want to stay away from the side, because I think they could be a backdoor cover here. There's 12 points that you're giving the Knicks. I think it's at 12 now. That's a lot of spots here. I wouldn't trust that with this Knicks team, man. They're like 5th worst in guarding the 3 at 38% over the last 5 games. Just doesn't seem like somebody that I want to take. Now, again, this team sucks ass, though, for this Magic team. They're allowing 111 points per game to opponents over the last 5 games. I think that kind of would translate in this game. They may allow these guys to shoot those threes that you're normally seeing from the Knicks here. Man, I just don't understand what's going on. Like, normally you would see Julius Randle ball out in the regular season and fold in the playoffs like we did see last year. That's what we're seeing. But it seemed like it's catching up a little early here. So maybe he's been figured out. I'm not sure. Maybe everyone is just guarding his left now because he's only going left. Like, I don't understand it. But I don't want to touch anything to do with this Knicks team, bro, honestly. If anything here, I haven't bet it yet, but I think this is the spot here for this Knicks. If you're going to take the Knicks here, team total over. The Orlando Magic allows they're not playing that much better defense than any other team, even though I believe they are 12th in opposing 3-point percentage. I think that has a lot to do with who they're playing rather than who the defense that they're doing. This Knicks team, they should be able to get their shots off in this spot. So I wouldn't take the 11.5. I'm taking team total. I believe you could get in about like I think a 111, 110, 111, something around there. If I'm not mistaken, that's the way I would go, over 110, 111.
Interesting spot. Nothing official. Let's move on to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Lakers 8-7, 1-2 on the road. And Milwaukee Bucks 6-8, 1-4 at home. Dan Kelly's been telling us to fade the Lakers. They have an easy schedule. Fade the Lakers, and I heeded his advice. I got the Bucks -7.5. Pinnacle's moved it to 9.5. I guess that's just saying that LBJ's not going to be in the lineup necessarily.
He's most likely going to play against the Celtics, not this game. So it's Perfect. Friday, I believe.
So let's see if it's the cash as well. I should have probably jumped on the first half too, but I'm fine. I'm fine. I'll just take the full game 7.5 here. And 42% of the tickets are on the Bucks, but 92% of the cash. Then you have 65% of tickets and 99% of the cash on the under. We're in Pfizer Forum. Bucks just 1-4 at home. This is a perfect smash spot for the Bucks, who've not been playing well and have to take care of business. By the way, Dan Kelly gave us third quarter Milwaukee -2.5 at -115. Milwaukee's pace last 5, 21st in the NBA at 96.49 possessions a game, while the Lakers are 10th at 100.61 possessions a game. Bucks look to snap a 2-game losing streak. They begin a 5-game homestand, and they need to run this 5-game homestand. They need to look good here. Milwaukee coming off a 121 loss to the Hawks on Sunday. Giannis went for 26, 6, and 5. Drew had 19 and 8. Grayson Allen, 7 of 11. shooting and hit 18 points. Lopez still out with a back injury. DiFrancesco out with the ankle surgery. And Middleton expected to return to the lineup. We have not seen him since October 30th when he entered COVID-19 protocols. So they've lost their past 4 home games, only won once at home. That was back in the season opener on October 19th. And they're allowing 107.8 points a game on their floor. LA has won 3 of their last 5, but they're coming off a 121-103 loss to the Bulls on Monday. Dan also said that. He said, wait till Chicago comes down. He said, wait till after the Spurs game. I wish I had jumped on that. I did not. Taylor Horton-Tucker goes for 28. Westbrook, 25, 8, and 6. Anthony Davis went for 20. And LeBron will be back soon, so not yet. Carmelo Anthony will start again. He's averaging 15.5 points a game. Take it away here, Wham Bam, Lakers, Bucks.
Man, today would have been Grayson Allen Day, which it still is in my opinion. But Chris Middleton is back, so normally it would have been 3.5 3-point makes for Grayson Allen. He's been hitting every game. I'm telling you, every game this guy's been over his 3-point prop. For me today, it has to be a play, even with Chris Middleton being in the lineup. They dropped it down to 2.5. It is juiced. Of course it's juiced. Of course it's juiced because he's only hitting this shit every game. It's at -140 when I got it. It's at -142, I believe now. So it's actually moving a little bit more in that direction to get to the 3.5s there. I honestly would think this could be a ladder spot for him. He's already shown that he's a great guy to get the ball to in smart spots. Now, Middleton coming back is going to make it a little bit harder for him to get those wide open looks, in my opinion, or at least to begin the acknowledgement that he's wide open. So I do think you want to tread lightly here. This is a 1-unit play for me for sure. So I'm not paying the juice. I'm not putting 1.4 units on. I'm just putting 1 unit on this thing. And I took it in at over 2.5 3-point makes for Grayson Allen. Now, as far as the side here, obviously you guys know I'm a Laker fan. I'm not going to hold back on our Lakers. We are pretty much terrible at turning over the ball yet again. 27th last season. Right now we're dead bottom 3 in turnovers. Just a slightly bit ahead of the Houston Rockets, who are the freaking turning over the ball 17% of their possession. It's just one of those things. I just don't trust the Lakers to do this on the road without LeBron, man. If LeBron was in this lineup, and I'm sure the line would probably be around 5 or maybe even 4 for Milwaukee, I would take the Lakers here. But in this spot, I don't have any faith that the Lakers are going to come out and cover the spread. I think it may be a blowout here. So I'm going to just say that Grayson Allen is going to get those threes in the midst of the blowout. And it kind of gives me a little bit more. If it is a blowout, I kind of do like that Middleton is in there, because Grayson Allen is going to get a little bit more of that afterburn when the blowout is in underway. He's probably going to get a little bit more touches there once that happens. So I think Grayson Allen is the only way that I'm going to look here in this game. If I was to take anything, it will be the total. I think it's going to be points here. I know the Lakers are going to have the pace in this spot. I do expect the Bucks to have pace as well. They haven't really defended well at all. They haven't been rebounding the ball. The Bucks haven't. They're not getting Brook Lopez back, so they might still have a problem with the boards with AD down low. So I could I could make a case for the Lakers. I'm not going to lie. I could make a case for the Lakers because the Bucks have been really bad, and they only had one good win in the midst of these last week or so. So I could definitely make a case for the Bucks. I'm just thinking that Grayson Allen is more easier for me to take, especially with the streak that I'm on. I'm fucking trying to get a W here. So I think Grayson Allen is the way I'm going to go here. Well, that's the only way that I went here already. But if anything else, it would be the over 220. I think that has a chance of going over the total. You can see these guys getting to the 110s plus for both teams. So I would say, again, me liking an over kind of makes me like the Lakers too, but especially with the number creeping up here. But I'm going to stay away from the side. I like the over, but I did take Grayson Allen over 2.5 threes. It's juice -140 when I got it, but I'll take it, bro. It is what it is.
Grayson Allen over 2.5 threes at -140. I'm on the Bucks -7.5. Bet that last night. Let's move on. 8 p.m. Eastern. Sacramento Kings 6-8, 4-4 on the road at Minnesota Timberwolves 4-9, 2-6 at home. We're at Target Center, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Sacramento pace last 5 games 8th at 101.10 possessions game, while Minnesota is 13th at 99.72 possessions a game. We have Minnesota opening up as 2-point favorites. That's where they stand across the board. This total is fired up fast. Open at 223, now all the way up to 227 at Pinnacle. 2,231 tickets in, 45% of the tickets, 87% of cash on Sacramento, but the line isn't moving. Crazy. 57% of tickets and 80% of cash on the under. Another situation where the market is moving opposite to where the cash is coming in. Very strange. Senka, what's happening? Great to see you. Thank you for joining us. Kings come in on the final game of their 4-game road trip. They come in with back-to-back wins. They're coming off a 129-107 road win over the Pistons on Monday night. And they're not coming off back-to-back wins. So that was their first win of this road trip. My fault.
Right.
That snapped a 4-game losing streak. Halliburton 17-10, Maytu 16-10. Buddy Hield went for 22 off the bench, 8-14, 6-10 from 3. Timberwolves looking for something after falling apart in the fourth quarter. Yet again, 99-96 loss against the Suns. Cat goes for 35-13. D'Angelo goes for 22. And Ant Edwards coming off a game where he missed 9 of 11 shots. So I'd be curious to see if people are going to be backing him for a bounce-back spot in the player prop market. Let's take a look. We've gone over the cash flow. Take it away here. Kings, Timberwolves. Take it away, Wham.
Yeah, I honestly do like that look for Anthony Edwards to bounce back. That's what I have written down here because he has to bounce back. I mean, that type of production, or at least those type of attempts, it will average out. It would average out. He's probably going to make a better case here. But that's not the way I'm looking in this spot here. I'm going to go with Buddy Hield. I think Buddy Hield's cooking up right now. I think Buddy Hield is cooking up. I haven't bet this yet, but this is probably going to be on – if the number one late edition here is going to be the Buddy Hield over 14.5 points. I think Buddy Hield can go over his three-point makes as well, but obviously it's going to be pretty high. He has to make about 4 or 5 of those things to get you that 4. He has to hit 4 to get you the goods there. And if he's going to hit 4 threes, I would think he's going to get 15 points. So I'm going to just take the 14.5 points for Buddy Hield. We can actually make that official because that's probably something I was going to make once I dropped these damn kids off. Once I looked at everything, that's probably going to be an official play for me. So you can lock that one in there for me. Buddy Hield over 14.5 threes. As far as the side here, though, I honestly am thinking that this is a king spot here. Now, now, don't get me wrong. I haven't really liked what I've seen from Luke Walton this year. Been on several different sides, and I've been on several different props for these Kings, and he's just fucking completely took the fucking guy that I bet on out of the lineup. First thing you thought of was the Rashawn Holmes rebounds. He'll need 2 more fucking rebounds. Doesn't play the whole fourth quarter. Got Damian Jones out there against the Suns. In this case, I could see him doing something squonky here because it's such a matchup disparity with Cat. You know, you have issues with some of these other guys like Ant Edwards. So you want to make sure you have Harrison Barnes and I forgot the other guy named fucking Davis on you want him on Ant-Man, Davis and Barnes. So you may have to work the lineup around that, I believe. But I believe that in case of anything of all that shit going wrong, Buddy Hield will get his. So Buddy Hield is the number one play for me. If anything, I do like this Kings, and I would take a money line if I was going to take the Kings here. As far as the total here, I don't know, bro. Like, I'm not sure. I didn't look at the money here, but I'm thinking towards the under here. I know it'd probably be more of a consensus towards this over, knowing these two teams, just the history here. But I can see some defense being played on both sides. So I can see the under happening. I just believe that there's going to be points to be scored on the other side, and it's going to be Buddy Hield, in my opinion. Continue to cook up.
What is the juice on the Buddy Hield over 14.5 points?
Buddy Hield was at -110 when I last looked at it. Let me double check here.
Double check. We got to be quick.
No,
here.
-102. -102.
Oh, -102. So it's okay.
-102.
-102. All right, we move on. 8 p.m. Eastern. Houston Rockets 1-13, 0-8 on the road at Oklahoma City Thunder. 5-8, 3-4 at home. We're at Paycom Center, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Last time these teams met up was a casher for me on the Rockets and the over. It was a double up, but this team has not won since. Houston third in pace, 102 possessions a game. Oklahoma City 14th at 99.40 possessions a game. We have Oklahoma City opening up at -4. They're now -2.5. This total opened up at 211, is now at 213.5. When we go to see where the cash lies in this spot, 1,891 tickets in, 12% of the tickets on the Rockets, 28% of the cash, and it's moved a 1.5 in their direction. 51% of the tickets on the over, 48% of cash on the over. So October 22nd, Houston's lone win of the season when they beat the Thunder, 124-91. And since then, the Rockets have lost by an average of 14 points per game. Only 3 of those losses have been by less than 10 points. Wow. Kevin
That's
Porter.
crazy.
Yeah, they're just not looking good. Kevin Porter questionable after he has a left thigh contusion. Eric Gordon missed Monday's game with right groin tightness, is expected to return. So Gordon's going to be back. The Thunder come in on a 2-game losing streak after winning 4 straight. Shea coming off an awful game. Gilgeous-Alexander, 10 points on 2 of 11 shooting. Third worst scoring performance in 118 games over the last 3 seasons for Shea. I wonder if this is a bounce back spot. Take it away here, Wham. Rockets, Thunder.
Man, this team and the Rockets are the worst team in the NBA. I will repeat that once more. This is the worst team in the NBA. They're allowing the most points over the last 5 games, turning over the ball at the highest rate of the so far this year. The coach, man, I'm not going to just disrespect Silas, but, man, it just seems like obviously they're doing things for the future. They're not really building in for now. And you could tell that's probably the reason why he's doing some bonehead-ass shit, but it just doesn't make sense to me. A lot of these guys that do play well, you don't give them the ball, and when they are playing well, you take the ball away. It's just like weird-ass shit going on over there. Jalen Green continues to play, up and down here so far this season. I haven't seen him ball out too much. Turnover machine, Kevin Porter Jr. I'm not sure if he's in the lineup. Is he in the lineup today? I think he has been in and off the lineup over the last few days. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure if he's in the lineup. I didn't really look at that, but only way I would look here is OKC. I haven't bet it yet, but I do have some of our guys that we respect on OKC today. So I want to look into this a little bit more. I don't want to lay with OKC though, bro. I mean, it's obviously you would lay in this situation. I do remember when the Rockets were taking a favorite against the Detroit Pistons. We hopped on the Pistons underdog spot. That's the reason why I don't want to take OKC, because I could see the Houston Rockets and pulling this shit off here. OKC is obviously the better defensive team. They're actually one of the better defensive teams so far this year, and very surprising there. It's just their offense haven't really found a groove yet, and a lot of that has to do with Shai Gilgeous. He's been mixing it up. Last year he was a PRI killer. This year he's not really getting rebounds. So he's not really assisting the ball. He's only scoring. So, like you said, if he's having a bad game scoring like he did last game, they're going to get trampled, bro. So it's kind of giving me a little way of staying away from this game, honestly. But if anything, it's probably going to be the Thunder here. But I'm gonna pass on this game, bro.
It is a bum fight. We have 2 more games, and then we get into NCAA basketball. We got to be quick here, Wham. Starting with Mavericks Suns, Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona. Dallas paced 26th in the NBA, 95.6 possessions a game. Phoenix playing the fastest that I've seen a Chris Paul team play, 102.7 possessions a game. Mavs have won 5 of 6, but we don't know if Luka Doncic is going to be available. He turned his left ankle late in that 111-101 home win over the Nuggets. So we don't know if he is going to be in the lineup, and that's a big piece of the puzzle. So let's take a look at the market and then send it over to Wham. Phoenix 8.5-point favorites, which is the market's telling you that Luka won't be there. 8.5-point favorites, and this total opened up at 216, now all the way down to 211.5. So I guess they're saying Luka's not going to be in the lineup.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be in the lineup today. I believe that this is the first leg of a back-to-back. If I'm not mistaken, they play tomorrow. If I'm not mistaken.
So they'll sit him. Hopefully he'll be ready to go. Tomorrow. KP had a season best 32 and then 29 against the Nuggets. He's starting to do something.
No, he's trying to get traded, bro. Don't fall for that.
And very quickly, before we roll in just 2 games, and then we got Maxwell Smart joining us for NCAA basketball. Jeff Slaughter just said if we can get to 175 likes, 3 people will get $50 sent to them by Jeff Slaughter. If we can get to 175 likes, 3 people will get $50. What's your
apologies? I overspoke there. They play the Suns not tomorrow. They play the Suns Friday, so they're going to play the Suns again. So that makes sense for them to sit them today.
And do you have any feel for this spot without Luka in the lineup, Mavericks Suns?
I mean, honestly, it's kind of one of those tough games in my opinion because you're getting a big spread for the Suns. I would definitely say the Suns should be able to bounce back here. What I seen last time was fucking troubling here, so it takes me away from the Suns because I only lost my Suns pick last game because of free throws. So it's very fucking annoying there. this Dallas team, they should be able to cover the spread, in my opinion. With Luka in the lineup, without him, I wouldn't trust it, so I'm staying away. But the next game here, and I could go straight to the next game because I know we got a lot of time. I'm going to say the Bulls here, honestly. Bulls money line is probably got to be the only play here to make because of what we've seen from Portland. We haven't seen Portland do anything well. We've seen the Bulls do everything well. Now, obviously, it could be a bad spot for them being on the road, all these different games and everything, but we've seen these guys be very resilient. This is a young core as well. These guys are young. They got the rookie out there, Ayo. They got Lonzo Ball and Caruso playing really well. I wouldn't be surprised if they slow this game down and goes under the total, but I think the Bulls is probably the best play here. So for right now, I'm only giving up 3 official plays. The only lean that I haven't played yet was the Heat first half. Gave out the first. I took the Wizards first +1, Buddy Hield minus over 14.5, and then Grayson Allen over 2.5 3-point makes. But that's my card for today, bro. I know we running tight, bro, so I don't want to make that quick for you.
Oh, it's all good. That was perfectly done. By the way, 24% of the tickets on Portland, 50% of the cash on Portland. They have won 6 in a row at home. This is the second game of a 4-game homestand, coming off that 118-113 win over Toronto on Monday. Lillard coming off 24 and 8, starting to look a little better, starting to look a little stronger. Still just 20.3 points per game and 38.7% from the field, not where he should be.
Right.
All right, let's review action at this point, because I'm at this point, I think that I should just stick with the Hawks -4 and Bucks -7.5. I'm not running hot in NBA. I don't want to invest. Well, at least I'm running hot. I'm looking terrible in NBA. I don't want to invest too much money in it. Wham's on the Wizards +1 at -109. He is on the moving here. Sorry, he's on
14.
Grayson Allen over 2.5 threes, Buddy Hield over 14.5 points. You can catch Wham on the NBA Pub Hub at 4 p.m. Eastern today. If he makes any additions, he'll tweet it out, he'll tag me, and I will add it to his card. Wham, thank you so much for joining us. I know you had a hectic morning, but it was great to have you back.
I appreciate you.
Running smooth with the new iPad. So we're going to get you straight. We're going to get Wham straight. We're going to get him right here. But thank you so much for joining us. Follow him at TrotWham on Twitter. And on this show, TrotWham is rolling at 9 wins, 7 losses, plus 2.01 units, average line plus 100. Wham, thank you so much. Oh, and D Menace says Zach Levine is from the Northwest, like a home game for him. And don't ask, don't tell. Look at it. Come along and ride on a backtastic voyage. slide, slippity slide. Don't ask, don't tell. Wow, $50 dono. Thank you so much for your support of the channel. It absolutely means the world to us. Don't ask, don't tell. And that's I know that's hard-earned money for you, man. It means the world. We're so proud to work here at Pub Sports Radio and believe in everything we're doing, but that means the absolute world. Thank you. Don't ask, don't tell. Any last words, Wham Bam?
No, I appreciate you guys. Catch me on Pub Hub, Wham Talk Wednesday on Who Bacon Sports. Appreciate y'all, man. We'll be here again.
There he is, Wham Bam in the house. We go from NBA to NCAA basketball. Please welcome your next guest, the Cupcake King, Maxwell Smart in the house. Maxie, what's happening, my man? Oh, you're muted, my guy.
That would help. I don't like to say that college basketball games are rigged very often, but last night when I watched that UTA Abilene Christian last minute, that game was rigged. That was a goddamn terrible jump ball call. He had his arms wrapped entirely around the ball like it was a big thing of gold or a freaking a turkey ham. So I just don't understand that shit. And then when you hit a shot like that, you know that you're going downhill. So it was really rough to watch that happen and see my money get flushed down the toilet and into my bookie's mouth. But I plan to drop something in the toilet that will not be money, and it will go in my bookie's mouth today. So use your imagination.
It's a riddle. It's a riddle on this show. It did cost us both a winning night. Max coming off a 3-4 night, down 1.45 units, would have been a winning night because the under in Abilene UTA was a winner. On the show, he's still, even with the 1.45 unit loss, he's still 17-13, hitting at 56.7%, plus 2.58 units with an ROI plus 8.60%. Still looking very strong on this show. And we thank you for that. Let's get right to work. We got Maxwell Smart joining us, star of our NCAA Net Profits show at 5 p.m. Eastern. Max gets his card started at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight with the Montana State Bobcats 1-1, 0-1 on the road at South Dakota Jackrabbits. South Dakota State Jackrabbits. We're at Frost Arena in Brookings, South Dakota. The Jackrabbits 2-1, 1-0 at home. Let's take a look at what we are dealing with here from a market perspective. Sorry, it's just going to take a second while that's loading up. Montana State opened its season with a tough 94-90 loss at Colorado as 12-point dogs. Certainly showed the strength of their basketball team. Then they beat up on NAIA Rocky Mountain Bears 81-52 at home on Sunday. Who cares about that? Jackrabbits are coming off a 2-game road trip that saw them lose to Alabama 104-88 on Friday before defeating Stephen F. Austin 83-71 on Sunday as just 2-point favorites. This game pops off at 8 o'clock. South Dakota State opening up as 10.5-point favorites. That's moved to 10. This total has dropped a point from 157.5 to 156.5. Max, well, smart. First game on your card, Montana State, South Dakota State. Take it away.
Yeah, Jim, with Montana State and South Dakota State, you're going to have a really nice mid-major offensive battle because what do we know about Montana State aside from the fact that they have a trio of very capable and seasoned, experienced veterans in this system and program in Jabril Bello, Abdul Mohammed, and Amin Adamu. So I think that with Adamu, we really need to see him lead this offense from the perimeter, slash, and not be forced to take jump shots because that is just not his game. And with Mohammed, this is your best rebounder, probably the best rebounder in the entire Big Sky Conference and your overall best player. So we need to see a good game out of him. And when Jabril Bello puts his mind to it, this is a guy that shoots over 60% on his 2-point shot attempts. And with him, you just got to feed him the ball. And that's what's going to happen because this offense is all about penetration. They're all about posts. They're all about running the offense through the post. And I think that they're going to do that. Offensively, they're fantastic. We've seen them hit 40% from 3 this year. We're seeing them do their business at the free throw line to the tune of 85%. Obviously, a small sample size and can drastically change like my record from yesterday to today. But I'll tell you, Jim, I just think that this is a game where we're going to get scoring. The one side that I'm worried about scoring is actually the Jackrabbits because this is definitely a very capable team. They have a better defense. And if the jump shot isn't dropping, that's an area that they can get exploited in. I think that they haven't shown us that yet, but this is something that we've seen, especially in summer league tournaments. You're going to have to run through your offense and run that through Doug Wilson. Doug Wilson is your awesome post-passing big man. Unfortunately, his free throw success really isn't there. He is getting there with volume, though. And if you get a good performance, and I'm hoping that we get a good performance from Noah Friedel and Alex Arians, we're going to be okay with the bet that I'm going to make official on the show, and that's going to be the first half over. This is a team that has dynamite guard play and an X factor in Zeke Mayo, who I think is one of the most impressive freshmen that we do not know the name yet, but you will. I believe he's still perfect from the field. He is a very good penetrating guard. And when you look at the Jackrabbits and you look at that offense and what they're missing, it's a guy who can take you off the dribble. Well, Zeke Mayo is the guy. He's got size, skill. Give me the first half over. No defense will be played, hopefully. And we're going to fuck with our eyes open. South Dakota State Jackrabbit style.
Over first half, over 73.5 available at -110 at a few different books. Does that sound good?
Yes, sir.
All right, Max is on the board. The taint play of the day is in. It's Wagner -3.5. We're going to touch on that at the end of Max's breakdowns. Matty Ice in the house. And Steve has a question for you that we will also touch on. And then we have one last question here. Let me pull this up from our Jeff Slaughter. Jeff asking if he has cupcake approval on Michigan State Vandy moneyline parlay at +138.
Do you want me to answer that right now?
Yeah, do you mind?
Michigan Vandy.
Michigan State Vandy parlay at +138.
Yeah, I do, and I like it better because the line went from 7 to 4.5 or 5. So yeah, I do like that.
Cupcake approval, Jeff. Cupcake approval. All right. First half over 73.5 for Montana State, South Dakota State. We move on to the next spot on Max's board. It's 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Missouri State Bears 1-1, playing their first road game of the season at Sam Houston Bearcats 1-1, 1-0 at home. We're at Bernard G. Johnson Coliseum in Huntsville, Texas. Let's move over to the market. I'm still at first half total, so let me move away from that right now. And there we go. I'll wait till that loads. Missouri State opened the season with a disappointing 99-94 loss at home for Southeast Missouri State as 16-point favorites. They followed that up with a 78-60 win over lowly Alabama State on Sunday as 25-point favorites. They haven't covered either of their two games and haven't looked good in either. Sam Houston comes in off a tough 74-65 loss at Nebraska on Saturday as 11.5-point dogs, and they were up 32-27 at the half. So Sam Houston did show a lot in that game. Let's move over to the spread that we're dealing with. We have Missouri State opening up as 5.5-point favorites. Pinnacle has moved it to 4.5. This total is at 146. There's been an 8-cent move towards the over at Pinnacle, and the other books have moved it a point to 147. Max, your second game on the card, Missouri State, Sam Houston, take it away.
Yeah, Missouri State, Jim, is one of my mid-major darlings, hopefully for the bankroll this year, and it was one of the top 25 Cupcake videos. I think that when you look at this Missouri State team, this is a game that I had circled on my calendar. I'm seeing a line that's less than 8. I like it. I like the Missouri State side in this spot, going on the road and playing a team that there's a bunch of boxes I like to check off before I get on a Missouri State road game, because Missouri State does have some good numbers at home compared to some of their off-putting road games. But if you could take care of the ball versus your opponent, if you could dominate defensive glass, if you can abuse the rim and get to the free throw line with volume free throws, like 25 to 30 attempts at least, and then you're not going to be hung up on hitting threes because your opponent can really guard that area. Well, that's Sam Houston State in a nutshell. So Sam Houston State with their offense, obviously with Savion Flagg, he's the guy that you got to contain. But I think that who I'm more fearful of from an offensive perspective in the way that we're going to bet this game is that Javion May is a freshman point guard that is a phenomenal on-ball defender, and he's a ball hawk. He's a guy that can really take your guards out of their rhythm, and that is what you don't want to happen if you're Missouri State. On the other side, it's hard to deny how good offensively this team is, but you definitely got a wake-up call watching that Southeast Missouri State debacle at home. I think that they come ready for business. They bring their lunch pail, and they don't have just a tuna sandwich. They got a tuna sandwich with a cupcake. So we're going to take Missouri State minus 5.5, and we're going to take the first half over 69.5, and let's get a double up here.
All right, well, I can give you Missouri State minus 4.5 at minus 110. So let me lock that in right now for you. Here, let me just move over here, make sure I can get that, and that it is available. So, yeah, minus 4.5 at minus 110. And then I'm going to line shop for you on the first half. So first off, we're going to go with Max Missouri State minus 4.5 at minus 110, and then he wants the first half over, which I will line shop for. All right, let's keep rolling. Next up, 9 p.m. Eastern, St. John's Red Storm 2-0 on the year. Two very easy games at Indiana Hoosiers, also 2-0 on the season. This game pops off at 9 p.m. St. John's opening up as 6.5-point dogs. They've moved to 4.5-point dogs at Pinnacle. This total opened up at 148.5. It's now at 151 or 151.5. I wonder if there's enough tickets in to get a read on the cash flow. There is not at this point. Okay, so then we have St. John's opened their season with these two easy wins. They started by defeating Mississippi Valley State 119-61 as 45-point favorites before beating St. Peter's 91-70 as 13.5-point favorites. Indiana opened its season by defeating Eastern Michigan 68-62 at home as 24.5-point favorites before beating up on Northern Illinois at home 85-49 as 25-point favorites. Here we go, Max. Next spot on the board for you, St. John's, Indiana. Take it away.
I think that with St. John's, Jim, this is a team that has definitely some inflated offensive numbers and some inflated offensive expectations. And we're going to really see if those are warranted when they go to Hoosier Nation tonight. And I think that with Indiana, this is a really strong defense, in my opinion. Whether they can score enough to play with St. John's, that's going to be the real question for them. Because with their defense, they're forcing turnovers, they're defending the three. And listen, with the Johnnies, one thing you don't want to see Indiana doing is trying to run with them. I don't like the production that we're seeing from some of the new guys, including Mike Durr, who can barely get on the floor for more than 10 minutes a game, and then Parker Stewart and Miller Kopp, who are both a combined 4 for 17 from 3-point range already. So that is not a very good sign. Still, there is definitely a light at the end of the tunnel, but I'm not going to be taking it. I'm going to be looking at the dog in this spot. I think that St. John's is going to play up tempo. They're going to be able to get a lot of 2-point buckets, and they're going to be scorching from three, because look at the numbers that St. John's has. It's not a joke that you put numbers up like that. You still got to shoot the shot and make the shot. So I don't see the same kind of production coming from Aaron Wheeler and Joel Soriano, but I do think that Posh Alexander and Champagne are going to go off tonight with their 1-2 punch. It's really hard for them to keep them away from the rim and keep them away from scoring. So now you add 3-point shooting from guys like Tariq Coburn. I just think it's a bad matchup for Indiana. I'm looking to go big on this game. I want to take St. John's money line, and I think that Omar Stanley, the 6'8" freshman, is the X factor in the game and the reason why they win it for us.
Ooh, wow. Big move here from Max, going for a big score on St. John's money line. I'm going to line shop for you on that spot. While I do, let's move on to your next spot on the board. 10 p.m. Eastern, UC Davis Aggies 2-0, 1-0 on the road at Pepperdine Waves 1-2, 1-1 at home. We're at Firestone Fieldhouse in Malibu, California. Let's pull up I'm still on money lines. Let's move over to the spreads and totals. The Cupcake King in business right now here on Pub Sports Radio. Game 4 of his card. He is 17-13 on the year here. Let's pull up this spot. So Pepperdine opening up as 1.5-point favorites. They're a pick'em now at some books. Other books have them at 1-point favorites. This total standing strong at 145.5. A couple books have moved it up a half point at 146. Here we go, Max. Aggies, Waves, take it away.
I think that with Pepperdine, I just can't really trust this team to go off. When you blow a game like you did at home the other night, it definitely leaves a resounding situational spot that if you're situational better, you're all over Pepperdine. Now with the line movement towards UC Davis, you probably like it even more. I have to just stop myself there and remember this is Lorenzo Romar coaching this team without a really bona fide star or a true point guard running the show with a ton of scoring aptitude. So I think that it's only a look for me in this game on UC Davis, or I'm not going to be on the game. I think that with UC Davis, with Ezra Manjan, he's going to have to take care of the ball. He's going to have to hit some jump shots, and he's been hitting some jump shots. It was the one knock on his game because he's a big penetrating guard. He did it at a really high rate for big West lead guards. And the one knock on him was, well, where's your jump shot? Well, he's 4 for 8 to start the season from 3-point range. And I definitely think that he's going to be able to build off that. I think that the one glaring weakness with UC Davis is their rebounding ability, their lack of size, and the fact that they give up a ton of second chance opportunities. If they can guard the perimeter the way that they have with very lockdown type 3-point defense, I think that they're going to be able to minimize their own weakness from the 3-point line and just set those ball screens and send those guards to the rim. I think that with, I'm not going to bother butchering his name, but number 4 for UC Davis is definitely one of the guys that has to stay on the floor. This is a very good rebounding front court player. And I think that what I saw in their past game is definitely indicating that if you have to, you can throw it down also, so you're not completely guard reliant. At the end of the day, it's a UC Davis spot or pass. I'm taking UC Davis, and hopefully they deliver chicken tenders with honey, and they don't deliver them with honey mustard packs.
UC Davis, I will line shop for you. By the way, Bet365 has by far the best line on St. John's money line, plus 205.
Please and thank you, sir.
Plus 205. That's Max's first big money line dog of the young season. A lot of people asking about Houston Baptist, Texas A&M. We still have 13 minutes before a liftoff and just one more game for Max to break down of his 5 picks. So we're going to keep rolling here on his next spot. Then we will ask him about that spot. Next up, so I'm going to line shop for UC Davis, but next up, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, UC Riverside Highlanders, 2-1, 1-1 on the road at San Diego. Toreros, 2-1, 1-0 at home. We're at Jenny Craig Pavilion in San Diego, California. First off, the market. We have San Diego opening up as 2-point favorites, now 3.5-point favorites. This total's gone from 135 down to 133. After losing at San Diego State 66-53 to start the season, the Highlanders went into Arizona State and beat them 66-65 as 8.5-point dogs. They followed that up with an easy 72-54 win over La Sierra University. I mean, basically an glorified exhibition game. After winning at Nevada 75-68, San Diego followed that up by losing at Cal 75-70 on Monday as 3.5-point dogs. The final game on Max's card. Max, UC Riverside, San Diego. Take it away.
Yeah, Jim, you guys know that I'm a pretty big UC Riverside fan, and I have a little bit of biases when it comes to their games. But I'm going right back to UC Riverside, Jim, because you know what? JP Mormon, that's the guy that hit that game-winning shot from beyond half court versus Arizona State. He is working fantastically, playing alongside New Zealander who was stuck in New Zealand because of COVID, Callum McRae. Callum McRae is a very good passing big man, and that is key to this Mike Magpie offense. And I think that when you have so much dribble drive and so much penetration from Zion pulling at the top of the circle, you need good, skilled passing bigs, and that's what this team has. I want to see Jalen Martinez get a little more play. I think that he could be a real difference maker, and I just love the fact that this team is still running this like press matchup zone, and it really does yield a lot of turnovers. On the offensive side of the basketball, you know, I'm just wondering when the fuck is Dom Pickett and Will Tattersall gonna wake the fuck up and start making some goddamn shots? Because when you look at the 3-point shooting and the lack of even drives to the rim and conversions at the rim for Dom Pickett, it's pretty annoying. Flynn Cameron's literally having to carry this offense from the 3-point range by himself. And this is a team that's used to having 3 or 4 36 to 40% 3-point shooters. I think that if they can score inside and they can stop San Diego, it's going to be because San Diego does not shoot the 3 as scorching hot as they have to start the season. And I think that when you stop the pick and roll of Jace Townsend and Terrell Brown, you're going to be able to get through, you're going to be able to get some stops, and Cal already showed how to do it. So now Riverside needs to go with the value, go into San Diego, enjoy the 300 plus days of sunshine that they get a year, and get me a money line winner with Riverside. Give me the money line, and I'm not going to take the 3.5, Jim.
Ooh, okay, beautiful. So also there's a UC Davis at plus 105 on the money line, or rather than having them a +1 at minus 110. Would you prefer that plus 105?
Yeah, I'll take that just because at that number, we got to win.
Yeah, I agree completely. And then we go to, again, we're 10 minutes away from a 1 p.m. tip-off. We are going to ask Max about that. Let's get Max's third money line dog on his card, and it is a plus 145 on UC Riverside. Wow, what an exciting card, Max. Plus 145 UC Riverside at plus 145. Okay, we're going to go over all of Max's action on these 5 games, and we also have a Say Hey play today in college basketball, but we have 10 minutes till tip-off here at 1 p.m. We also want to talk about the Taint play today. So we got a lot of stuff going on here, but first and foremost, 10 minutes away from Houston Baptist, Texas A&M. This total opened up at 141. It's down all the way to 137.5. And Texas A&M opened up as 26.5-point favorites. It's 24.5 at Pinnacle, 23.5 at other books. Max, do you have any feel or any lean on this Houston Baptist Texas A&M game?
Yeah, quickly, Jim. I'm not gonna take Texas A&M at this type of number. I want to see them cover this type of number before I lay, even against Houston Baptist, who is really just like hit or miss. If they're hitting threes, they're staying in the game. If they're not, this game is going to get real ugly, and I'll get my wish and see Texas A&M cover a 20-point spread. I think that the only way to play the game are unders, in my opinion, but now with the line movement of being already more than a 3-point bucket, you got to look live first half under. I think that's where you get the best value.
Live first half under. By the way, Seamus Ignoramus giving us insights on the UC Riverside girls chugging Mountain Dew and slurping man sauce. So sounds like a campus we want to visit. Next up question for you, Max. Matty Ice has moved on Wagner, and we've seen a huge market move towards St. Peter. So Wagner opens up as 5-point favorites. They're all the way down to 2.5-point favorites. What do you think of Matty Ice and the taint play today on Wagner minus 3.5?
I like the play because Wagner being at home. I think that if you put Wagner and you switch this location, I think that it does take away. What I'm worried about is what you're going to get from Delonte Hunt. Delonte Hunt's got to be able to run this point guard spot. He's got to be able to limit his turnovers. And right now, I'm just not sure that he has it all together. So that's a big issue. I think that with Elijah Ford, you need him to be able to hit threes and extend defenses a little better. And the only person that really is giving me everything that I really want in life when it comes to Wagner basketball is Alex Morales. So he's giving you scoring from all three levels, playing really good on the glass, offensively and defensively. And of course, you know, the one blemish that he has is just a couple untimely turnovers. But this is a Wagner spot. I think that they win by 5 to 6 points. And St. Pete's, you know, they're really good defensively. We know that, but can they score enough to win? And that's where my question marks are always going to lie with them.
Great stuff, Max. We thank you so much. Right after this, we're going to go to the Say Hey Play of the Day in college basketball. But let's review Max's action here on the show. Again, this is show number 5 for Max here on Betting with the Bag. He's 17-13, 56.7%, plus 2.58 units, ROI plus 8.60%. Excellent work. Max gets his card started. Here we go. Max gets his card started with a first half over 73.5 in Montana State, South Dakota State. Then he's on Missouri State minus 4.5 in the first half over 69.5 at minus 108. Then he moves on St. John's money line at plus 205 before UC Davis money line at plus 105, followed by UC Riverside money line at plus 145. Big plus money line spots. Very, very exciting, Max. Thank you so much for joining us. Follow Max on Twitter at CBMS420, and he is the star of our NCAA Net Profits show Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Max, thank you so much for running with us. We love having you on the show. You can see him here again tomorrow, and we're just very thankful that we get to cap college basketball with you. So thank you for your guidance. Any last words for these great cappers supporting the show?
Yeah, listen.
Texas A&M. Oh, we got that. You already talked about the Houston Baptist. Sorry, excuse me.
Yes, we did.
Any last words, Max?
Listen, I think that obviously I always tell you guys, be careful what sauce you dip your chicken in. And of course, if you don't know the names of arenas, don't try and use that kind of information in a breakdown, because if you don't know it and you don't know it well, you end up doing what I did this morning on the radio. So
there's the leadership and guidance from Maxwell Smart. There you go. Now, it is time next up to bring on our Say Hey Play of the Day. We didn't get one yesterday. It's been a while since we've been given one from Jose, and he's having a good season. Right now, the Say Hey Play of the Day is 60-59, hitting at 50.4%, plus 2.44 units with an ROI plus 2.05%, average line plus 102. Here we go. Jose, welcome to the show. How are you?
Jimmy, I'm all right. No say hey plays recently because it's not baseball season, unfortunately, and I hate shooty hoops. But we are, in fact, on a basketball play today, Jim. And I've been thinking about this. I have a lot of things going through my mind, like how am I going to introduce Max? How do I make a cupcake fairy come true? And how does the say hey play evolve into not basketball or not baseball season? I think I'm going to give everyone one chance, Jim. Is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give everyone one shot here. And Cab, my man Cab, inspired me earlier. I'll go grab it. Here's my man Cab. Perfect timing. He tweeted me this morning, sent me this UTSA stat. UTSA good against the spread at home. I'm taking UTSA today against the spread. There's 10 points against Ooey Pooey, as I call them, and that's IUPUI. I think they're minus 10. Yes, currently. Sorry, minus 10 at minus 110. Sorry, there's a lot of 10s there, but I'm going to take them today. I'm going to give everyone one shot. You can tweet me. You can send me a play in the chat. And if I like your play, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to give you that one chance. And if you lose, I'm never going to listen to you ever again, and your gambling advice will never be heeded. But if you win, you'll be in the elite echelon of cappers in my mind, and you will put money in my pocket, and you would have helped the Say Hey play. And I want you guys to feel a part of the Say Hey play, because we are, as you say, Jimmy, we're one big family. And since it's not baseball season, I think this would be an interesting time for the Say Hey play.
So I see the UTSA going down to 9.5. I have
perfect, even better. I have it on. I'm looking at it on our friends at Bodog, aka Bet Dog, but I'll take the 9.5 too. Yeah, I just refreshed and I see the 9.5 now, so that's fine.
Remo says this is now the Jose Tail play of the day. No,
it might be until baseball season. Who knows? I'm sorry that I'm listening to our smart cappers in the chat. They've got some smart people in here, and I want to heed their advice. And if they tell me that UTSA is the play, then UTSA is the play. Minus 9.5. Honestly, I would love to get Max's opinion on the Roadrunners. I know he loves the Roadrunners. He says they fuck with their eye open. I personally think they're hot garbage. But, however, you saw those stats. You saw the record against the spread. Cab's my guy. I'm listening to him. It's on him. So I love him, and I believe in him.
It's a lot of man love, Jose. UTSA minus 9.5 at minus 110. You have not watched the Three Amigos yet. We are disappointed tonight, right? Tonight you're going to watch
tonight. Yes. Look at this, Jim. I mean, again, look at us. Oh, that's not the thing I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for.
There you go. And when you said that UTSA fucks with their eye open, that makes it sound like they're a Cyclops, by the way.
Well, I mean, it's a Roadrunner, and there's like narrow eye.
All right, there is Jose Bouquet joining us with the Say Hey play of the day, and it is UTSA minus 9.5 and minus 110. He did reach out to the fellow cappers to somehow guide him for the next few months, which is, I guess what the Say Hey play has become. Sad. It's sad to see that happen, but I guess he wants a community to be involved with his bullshit. So there you go. UTSA minus 9.5 at minus 110. And
also, by the way, we're at 136 likes. So hit the like button. 175, $50 to review.
There you go. He's losing his smile. He's losing his sparkle. Okay. UTSA minus 9.5. And don't forget that the taint play of the day is in, and it is a Wagner minus 3.5, which can now be bet at minus 2.5. Sweet taint. Michael Robinson says, watch Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles is on the list. It is on the list. All right, so we talk taint. Now we talk spreadsheet play of the day. But first...
I can't get my mouth around that thing. Oh.
The taint Play of the day, Wagner -3.5, and the spreadsheet play of the day is twofold. The first spreadsheet play of the day is in NHL. It is the Colorado Avalanche. The spreadsheet play of the day in NCAA football is a game we are going to be talking about right now, and that is Buffalo. The spreadsheet play of the day backing Buffalo here. I'm going to find the best line for it, but spreadsheet play today, Buffalo in NCAA football. All right, let's move into NCAA football. 1-1 yesterday, and it really bothered me that I wasn't on Miami of Ohio, at least first half or full game. I got talked off of it, and it made me very, very angry. It made me very angry that I wasn't on it. Let's get this rolling. What the hell's going on here? There we go. Okay, so let's start with the cash here in this spot. We have, God, I can't believe this is down. We have Northern Illinois, Buffalo, 5,169 tickets in, 64% of the tickets on NIU, and 47% of the cash, which is fascinating that NIU with their run game and Buffalo with their lack of run defense would be taking the big bets here, which really gives us all pause. And then we don't forget, Northern Illinois was 0-6 last year, and everything changed with Rocky Lombardi and more. So we'll get into this game in a second. Also, 60% of tickets on the over and 42% of cash on the over. All right, let's now look at the market moves here. And I'm getting an internal server error there. So why don't we move instead and see what Bet365 has this. I'm going to try to get the market moves and apologize that I don't have it. There's something going wrong with that site right now. Let's move over to where it stands right now. We have Northern Illinois. Jesus, just 1 point favorites here. 1 point favorites and -120. This is wild. And spreadsheet play of the day yesterday won Toledo. Oh, Jesus, I didn't know that. Sorry, that was my bad. I didn't count that. I thought it was just Calgary. So I will add that here. I do remember that now that you say that. My fault. Thank you for reminding me of that, Ron. Okay, let's break down this spot here. Northern Illinois Huskies 7-3, 5-1 in the MAC at Buffalo Bulls 4-6, 2-4 in the MAC. We're in Buffalo, New York. 59 Fahrenheit showers, 17 mile per hour winds. Northern Illinois comes in off a 30-29 win at home over Ball State as 3-point dogs. They're second in the MAC in rushing offense with 220 yards per game. They've run the ball twice as many times as they've thrown it this year. Last week against Ball State, they put out 211 yards and 2 touchdowns on 41 carries. Rocky Lombardi is third on the team with 375 rushing yards. He scored 5 touchdowns on the ground. Also thrown for 2,717 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 7 picks. Buffalo comes in off its second straight lopsided loss, 45-18 at Miami of Ohio, 7-point dogs. So they have to beat Northern Illinois, and then they have to go on the road and beat Ball State just to get a bowl game. This is the defending East champs we're talking about. They've lost to Bowling Green and Miami by a combined 39 points. Wild. Curb Stomp play of the day is also on Buffalo. So here we have Mike M. and Ron Crawford on Buffalo. Buffalo's given up 218.3 rushing yards a game, 5.3 yards per carry in conference, and they are being backed. Let's see if we can get a market move here finally. Let me see if I can. I don't know what the hell's going on with this website. And no, we can't get the market move. So Ron Crawford says it is senior night. Cab is on NIU on the money line in the first half. So senior night in Buffalo and backing the Bulls. Very, very interesting. And the big bets are coming in on the Bulls. Wow. For show cash says LaMarcus Aldridge and Brooklyn covered by a mile tonight. Wow. Well, this is going to take more time for me to study because maybe it would just be backing the Bulls first half would be what I'd want to do. Mike M says 64% of the bets and 47% of the cash. Yeah. So clearly the big bet's coming in on Buffalo. Michael Ervelina says Buffalo losing their coach in the offseason has changed the team drastically. Different system of play, too much change. Buffalo has been a fade this season, and I would stay off this game, but lean Illinois. Ooh-wee. That's a very, very interesting breakdown from both sides. And from a total perspective, we have this sitting at 59.5 with showers. So not rain, just showers. You know what? Let's double check the weather. Let's double check this weather here and see the latest update. If it's just showers. Yeah, and it won't even. At kickoff, it's going to be 17 miles per hour and no rain. Mike M says these two teams hate each other. It's senior night and it's Buffalo weather. Jay Peasy says senior night in Ohio last night as well. And yes, NIU did win in the last second, a late field goal here. So next up, we'll move on to Central Michigan and Ball State on the last one. Central Michigan, Ball State. Let's get this up here. And there we go. Okay. So Central Michigan, 6-4, 4-2 in the MAC at Ball State, 5-5, 3-3 in the MAC. We're at Schumann Stadium in Muncie, Indiana. Here we have 60 Fahrenheit, light rain, and 16 mile per hour winds. Central Michigan comes off its second straight win, 54-30 at home over Kent State as 2.5-point favorites. Ball State comes in off a 30-29 loss at NIU as 3-point favorites. And I came close to betting Ball State in that spot. And my lean was towards Ball State. There's Realist Living in the house. Thank you for joining us. Ron Crawford, by the way, saying home dogs better offense for the Bulls. This Ball State spot here is interesting because Central Michigan has just come on so hard late in the year. They're already in bowl eligibility at 6-4, but they have a chance at the West Division title if NIU loses both of its last two games. Ball State had a chance to be in the forefront of this MAC West title, but they lost 30-29 on that final play last night. But they still have a chance to get to 7-5, which would get them to the bowl for a second year in a row. And they started out 1-3. I just feel like this Ball State team is coming together, and I want to back them here as a home dog. The Chippewas averaging 34.5 points per game, 6.2 yards per play in their 6 MAC games right here. And it's this Lou Nichols III who's just running wild. 1,297 yards rushing, first in the conference, and getting 129.7 yards per game. Daniel Richardson has started the last 6 games for the Chippewas, and he's throwing 19 touchdowns with 2,011 yards. He's just absolutely rolling. And Ball State offense seemed to be getting better and better and better as the season went on under senior quarterback Drew Plitt. But he's been held under 200 passing yards in the last 2 weeks. But this is a game against the Chippewas team that's so bad with their pass defense. And if we trust Ball State's offense, you have to think that they're going to come hard in this last game of the year. Christopher Comentini, by the way, says Northern Illinois can't stop anyone. Can't stop anyone. I want to back Ball State here. For Show Cash says 34 points a game is too much. The total sounds good. So let's just move over. If we can get any last-minute notes on why we wouldn't back Ball State when Central Michigan's... I guess the question is, do you think that Drew Plitt can take advantage of Central Michigan's poor pass defense? And why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he be able to? They have a chance to become bowl eligible. Sure, the Chippewas are rolling right now. Let's see where the cash lies in this game. Maybe this will be the answer for us. And here we go. 65% of the tickets on Central Michigan, 70% of the cash on Central Michigan. Then 39% of the tickets on the over, 69% of cash on the over. 2-star green flag says Central Michigan 282 yards passing, Ball State 206 yards passing. Central Michigan a better offense, but this game could go either way. Ball State has been playing good football. I thought Ball State had it all together. I really did until that 30-29 loss last week. So I am going to put my money where my mouth is. And Puzzler saying, for those who think Edmonton playing 3 games in 6 days is a lot to ask, BC -5 is at -110 for Friday's late CFL game. It's too bad Rourke is at quarterback for the Lions. It does add a trickiness, but I hear you. I hear you, Puzzler. So I just, at this point, don't see why I wouldn't back a Ball State. Go up against the public who are watching the Chippewas, win and beat Kent State. But look, Kent State seems like a completely different team when they're on the road than they are at home. So I want to back Ball State here as dogs. Let's just see what I would get right now on Ball State. +120 on the money line. It looks to me like this could go to a 3. It looks like you could get Ball State +3 here if you wait. And I think that's what I'm going to do. For Show Cash says, great game. I love these night games. 2-star green flag moving towards thinking about backing the better offense with Central Michigan. Okay, let's review all action here on the show. We're coming off a beauty 6-2 day plus 4.05 units in NHL. And I am on the over 5.5 in Blackhawks Kraken and the Kings at -110. I'm staying off the Avalanche Canucks game, but the spreadsheet play today is Colorado, and I can understand why a Top Shelf plays this game's got overwritten all over it. We know that Central Michigan's offense is going to deliver. I just wish I could get the market move here, which I haven't been able to do. Let me just try a different operating system to see if I can get this. Let me just do this. This will probably work. Give me 1 second before we put a bow on this show.
While you do that, Jim,
yes,
I'd like to share something with you, and I'd like to make a second say, hey, play of the day, but this game isn't until Saturday. I'd like to get on this early.
Okay, let's do that. Before we do that, very quickly, Ball State opened as 2.5-point favorites. They were there for 2 days, and then at midnight, they became 1.5-point. Sorry, Ball State was 2.5-point favorites. Then they became 1.5-point dogs, and now they're 2.5-point dogs. There's been a 5-point swing on Central Michigan. With that, there's no way I can say that is a mistake. That's a huge, huge move. And then we'll go over to the total. This total opened up at 62, and it's all the way down to 57. So I don't know how anybody could make a move there. Let's hear the Saturday Say Hey play of the day, and then we'll move over to the Northern Illinois Buffalo market moves. Take it away, Jose.
So Jim, these next 2 Saturdays are some of the more important Saturdays of the year for me, and I'd like to tell you this. We don't get to talk much, so this is the only time I get to talk to you on the show. We don't have a show after us today, so we get to chat today, Jim.
Sure.
So this Saturday features the UTSA Roadrunners versus UAB home football game. Winner goes to the conference championship game. Winner basically hosts the conference championship game. Even if UTSA loses this game and wins the rest of their games, they will not go to the conference championship game. Must wins game for UTSA. I'm taking them -4.5. I will be in attendance. I think they roll UAB. I think this is the pinnacle of the year, I guess. And those who have watched me talk about UTSA will have heard me say this before. Jim, this is the most important game in program history yet again. No UTSA football team has ever been here before. UTSA football team has ever made the conference championship. No UTSA athletics team, well, there has been some, but not many go to the conference championship game in general. UTSA wins this game. They win it out handedly. Most people, I wouldn't say most people, a lot of people will be at the Alamo Dome. Loudest environment in Conference USA. Birds win. And Jim, I'd like to also let you know that I might be a psychopath then, Next Saturday, the 27th, is Bedlam, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. And I become a crazy person during those games, Jim. That whole week, I really, really, really do not like Oklahoma. And Jim, I'm just going to warn you now, that week is going to be stressful, and you might not know who I am after Wednesday of that week. So just a heads up.
Very interesting. Very exciting.
Also, by the way, this is also me stalling so I can give people more time. 175 likes, $50 to 3 people at the end of the show. We're at around 150 right now. Hit the like button. So this is also stalling techniques, but I just wanted to let you know all of these things.
Thank you, Jose. And what was the juice on UTSA minus 4.5?
Your classic 110.
Minus 110 for Jose. A Saturday play of the day. So we'll look at market movement. We'll discuss that again throughout the week.
And by the way, our friend Seamus asking for hockey mask Jose. Is that crazy, Jose? No, that's only hockey, Jose. You have to get my personalities in order, please.
Very interesting stuff. And UTSA, it's exciting. It's exciting what they've done. Okay, here quickly, we have a very interesting look from Kent Davies. Sorry, my son is looking for titty here as a finale for this show. My son's going to be sucking on titty, not on camera. We have a very interesting look from Kent Davies. With the 5-point swing to Central Michigan, Ball State's team total is now at 27.5. 27.5. So that has to be the look here. So let's just go over to it for me, because I think Ball State is going to have their shit together in this game. So why wouldn't I take Ball State to cover? But I mean, you have to think if Ball State goes over the 27.5, it seems like Ball State, the over, and Ball State to cover. The idea, though, that there would be a 5-point swing, that a team would go from 2.5-point favorites to 2.5-point dogs, makes me think I'm wrong with my analysis, and I need to re-look at everything. So you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to move on this team total over yet, but because if Ball State goes over 27.5 points, they should cover the 2.5. But if Ball State goes over 27.5 points, the game should go over because the Chippewas have the better offense. Clearly, I'm missing something. So I'm going to go back over this game. The idea that Buffalo is going to step up here is fascinating. That's the spreadsheet play of the day, and that's Mike M's curb stomp as well. And so that was not my initial thought because of how badly they've looked the last 2 weeks. And then senior night's going to turn around with a new coach. So I've got to go back on both of these football games. The taint play today is Wagner minus 3.5, and Jose's on UTSA minus 9.5. Then in college basketball, UC Riverside plus 145, UC Davis plus 105, St. John's plus 205, Missouri State minus 4.5, first half over 69.5, first half over 73.5. I don't want to add anything. Bolt Piker says, what's the market movement? Tell us about Buffalo. I had it up right here. The only real movement is to the under. It opened at 63.5, and it got down to 59 before it came up to 60. And then Buffalo has been the open at plus 1.5, moved to plus 1 at minus 108. That plus 1 got to minus 118 at Pinnacle this morning at 7:40 in the morning. And then money started coming back in on the Huskies. So that plus 1 got to plus 102, which is where it is right now. So Nate Dogg saying all the games in the NHL go over tonight. There's Jansen Bonson in the house. In NBA, I got the Hawks minus 4 and the Bucks minus 7.5. I've beaten both those market moves. I don't know why I would want to add anything at this point. I think I'm in a really good spot. The moves from our Trot Wham in NBA, he is on the Wizards first half he's on Wizards full game. Wizards full game plus 1 at minus 109. He's on the over 2.5 threes from Grayson Allen at minus 140. And he's on Buddy Hield over 14.5 points at minus 102. And then the very final spot on this NBA card that we've been breaking down is Dan Kelly giving out the Bucks third quarter minus 2.5. There you have it. We almost got to 175 likes, 164. We're missing it by 11. We will try again tomorrow to give out $150, $50 to 3 different cappers. Thank you guys so much for rolling with us. The chat is what makes this show special. Your insights, your humor, everything that you bring to the show. Mike Butler, Jansen Bonzen, Piker, Poker Addicted, a.k.a. Seamus Ignoramus, Top Shelf Plays, Nate Dogg 420, Dennis Garcia, Goiper, Rem Most, Hoops 590, Kent Davies, 2-star, Green Flag, Brian Pacone, For Show Cash, Ron Crawford, Michael Ervalina. To all you guys, thank you so much for your support. Let's have another winning day. We had a great winning day yesterday. Let's do it again here today. Let's get the cash. Leche. Hey, Los Bookmakers!
I can't get my mouth around that thing. Oh.